Michigan defeats Ohio State on Saturday, and folks, they're up to number 2 in the AP poll. But tonight is the second to last college football playoff top 25 rankings reveal. We've got about 20-ish minutes until the committee member standing outside that door right behind producer Jack hands us these really cool envelopes that have 25 through 21, 20 through 10, and then the top 10, kind of in order. They're really a little bit crazy about it. But nevertheless, stay with us. You are watching the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. I, as always, am your host, James Yoder. Some people have called me the king of Michigan football media, the most connected man in all of college football. I'm not giving myself those nicknames. I've just been told that is the nickname. Some have even called me the Michigan Insider, though others try to have that nickname. My guy, Shane. Shane, I don't know if you've got a new Twitter or not, but somehow maybe I wasn't following you. My guy coming in with the super chat. Also, Carl, we'll get to in a second. But Shane, I'm in Miami next Friday. I know you said it was your birthday, so let's make sure we connect ASAP. All right, let's go through a couple questions. We already got a couple super chats in here, so we'll show you those in here in a few moments. But the U.S. beat Iran. What was the score, Jack? 1-0 was the final score. 1-0 was the final score. So let's see what you guys are thinking. Better sport to watch. Is it soccer or is it hockey? Go ahead and give me an S or an H down in the comments. What is that right here, Jack? Right there. Is it my helmet? I'm like, what is that showing up in the camera? Something's showing. Is it? There you go. Like, what do we have here behind me? There's the helmet, though. The Michigan Football Reports Super Chat helmet. We'll show you the menu here in a second, but want to give some shout-outs from last week's show. Mostly Wolverine, Alaska, his daughter, Leanne. This is 2 weeks ago. We didn't have one last week, unfortunately. Preston Yoder, my son. Cool Moti, and then our MVP of last week's show was my guy, John Blaze. We've already got a couple super chats as we are awaiting the committee's top 25 rankings. I got to put this somewhere. I'm just going to put it on for a few seconds, see what we're doing. All right, S or H. See, mostly H is coming through. I'm not saying I'm anti-American or anything, but I'm not a big soccer guy myself, so I'm going to go with an H. I like it in person a lot better than I do, hockey than I do on TV. So I'm just going to go with an H for in person. All right, first super chat coming into the day. My guy, Carl Cordell, doesn't leave anything, but Carl is a longtime watcher of the show, view the show. I believe, Carl, we just got you the Michigan football T-shirt a little while ago, and really appreciate it. Follow Carl. Carl, if you want to put your Twitter account in there or something like that in the chat, we can maybe put that up on screen, maybe drive you a few followers. Shane Johnson says, King Yoder, let's go. Better see you in Miami and Glendale. Miami next Friday and Saturday. Staying at the very south point of very tip of South Beach, all the way at the southern end of it. So let's see if we can make it happen. And then Glendale is TBD. Jack and I are going to the national title game in LA for sure. He's actually from the Phoenix area. How far from Glendale, Jack, did you grow up? Yeah, Jack should be.
So I'm from Tucson, which is 2 hours south.
You went to school there.
But I went to school there, and it's like, 30-minute drive to the stadium from where I was. So, yeah.
Nice. But were you out there? TBD, we got a guy here in the office, Harrison Graham, who is actually over live right now on our main channel doing the CFP Top 25. He is a TCU grad, and so if it's Michigan-TCU, maybe a 2-3 matchup, maybe him and I will go out there. Maybe Jack can meet us there. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I won't do a media thing for that one, but we'll be in full force for the college football playoff national championship game January 9th in L.A. All right, super chat menu. Here's what we get. A lot of you guys 2 weeks ago really liked Zach Smith, former Ohio State wide receiver coach. Zach just texted me. He can't make it tonight. He's got a hot date out on the streets, but probably we'll have one or two potential former Ohio State players that may join the show. I haven't got confirmation yet from either one of them, but I think we probably will shortly. For every $5, it's a wheel spin. I want to kind of tell you what the wheel spin is tonight. If you guys haven't seen the show in past weeks, what we've done with the wheel spin is it's kind of stupid human tricks. So one of them is tell a dad joke. We got sing hail to the victors. We got 5 squats. I'll jump down the ground, do 5 squats, or kind of do this. Green, if we get one, is wear a wig for 5 minutes. I brought back the sexy blonde wig. I'll wear that for 5 minutes if that hits. And then I guess I got to do one, right? Carl Cordell did one, so we'll go with that in a second. And then where are the rest of them at? Shot a fireball. So I've got my got a little end of a thing of fireball here. And then drink half a beer is one of them. And prank call, 5 push-ups, and prank call the Michigan State lawyer. If you guys haven't followed this guy, David D. Diamond, put out the most ridiculous legal letter maybe of all time, about 3 or 4 weeks ago after the incident in the Michigan tunnel, and Michigan State just looked like an actual amateur, looked like a fraternity kid writing it. So if that shows up in the thing, I've got his office number he put on his stupid letter he put out there. We're going to prank call him and put on speakerphone for you. We don't have that set up through the computer. So Jack, go on screen right now. We got a couple other things there, but we did have that $5. So we'll go to this. Jack, show him there. Make sure it's all on screen there, Jack. Got to move over the other side. There we go. What are we at?
5 squats.
The green off. 5 squats.
5 squats.
All right. Put me fully. Then we'll go back to the super chat menu as we are now about 10 minutes or so away from the CFP top 25. So let's go. Jack, give me a grade on my squats.
1, 2, 3,
4, 5. I'm not stopping at 5. I'm gonna do 6. Look,
6.
If you do more, you take more reps in the gym. There you go. I'm gonna do 8 for now. 8 for now. 6 that should have been for 1 for every touchdown Michigan scored against Ohio State, but nevertheless. So Jack, show us the super chat menu because I didn't get to finish to go through all of that. If you wouldn't mind for just a moment here. So we got the wheel spin there. You just saw. If we get to $100, we'll get one former Ohio State player, potentially a second. We get to $200. $10 Big Ten helmet sticker. So if anybody super chats $10, it was $20, so it's on sale. You will get a big helmet sticker end of the year after Michigan wins the national title. I'm gonna sign this. I'm gonna dip it in gold, and I'm gonna give it away to somebody, whoever's the MVP. John Blaze. I don't know if you can give John some love after this, showing him the MVP. And $20. How about this one? Very closely, Michigan Confidential. So. Anyone super chats $20, I will do Michigan Confidential from one person, $20, which is I will take you inside some scandalous story in the history of Michigan football that a lot of people probably have questions on. I've got 3 or 4 that I think not everybody knows the real answers to. So one off the top of my head is Les Miles. What happened there? Okay, or why did Mo get fired after the '94 season? And then whoever has the biggest super chat or the most super chats total tonight is our super chat MVP. Last week it was our guy John Blaze. You see at the bottom of the screen, he has the gold medal, the super chat MVP. As my speaker cord is just danking on my shirt there a little bit. And so that is the super chat menu. I'm like, what do we have here? It's the wig. I'm like, what am I showing there? It's the wig. What do we got? Oh, Rock City! 2 of them, Cool Moti, says, my man Yoder. Another CFP it is. Toss that one on screen. Oh, we'll go to Brylan Perry. All right, Jack, I feel like I'm putting stuff over there, but I really feel that I should be putting it over here because we've got a little more room there. All right, so was it Brylan Perry says, wet the beak, Yodi, wet the beak. Wet the beak. All right, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Any super chat, we're going to put you on screen as fast as we can. So really appreciate it, Brylan. Thank you so much. Go Blue, 12-0 Wolverines. My guy, Rock City, 20 bones. My main man, Yoder, after another CFP. Is it fair to say Michigan should be considered a major player moving forward for the CFP? Look, I went back to some preseason content that we put out in September, or early September, late August, even back to July, talking about what I thought would happen this season if Michigan made the transition off of Cade McNamara, if J.J. McCarthy became what we thought he would, if other players like Junior Colson grew. How about Mason Graham? How about Will Johnson? Those guys are freshmen. A lot of players. We're going to talk more about what's coming up in this show. We're going to talk about some guys returning for 5th and 6th years next year potentially. I think this is a great 3-year run. The biggest potential blocker that I see for this program continuing on for years and years is what happens with quarterbacks in 2024 if J.J. McCarthy decides to go to the NFL, if he's an NFL prospect, which I'm not sure that's 100% right now, if he goes to the NFL after the 2023 season. So if he's here in the 2023 season, as I drop my wig there, make sure I get that, went down. If he's here during the 2023 season, J.J. McCarthy, 2024, I'm sorry, then I think Michigan's going to have a great 4-year run. But after that, is it Jaden Davis? If he needs to come in 2024 as a true freshman, I think that could be potentially challenging for this program. So we'll have to see what Davis wants. Jack, what is this thing right here? Keep showing on the screen. What is that marker? I'm like, what am I seeing on the screen right there? It's just irritating me. All right, cool. So Rock City. So we'll do that. Go to Cool Moti, and then we'll do a Wolverine Confidential after Cool Moti, and then we will do Yep, 2 stickers for you guys, and then we will also do a Wolverine Confidential for the second one in about, let's just say, right after the College Football Playoff top 25 rankings are revealed. So we've got stickers from Cool Moti, stickers from, what was the last one? Just already, Rock City, that's right. So he says, how do you feel about our chance of shutting down Georgia's tight ends? Sorry, I can't stay tonight, bro. Appreciate it, Cool Moti. You're getting 2 more stickers, my man. So we're going to get 2 more stickers for Cool Moti, and he is getting himself a Wolverine Confidential. Look, I think Georgia's offense reminds me a different style of Michigan's offense, right? They both have a quarterback who, as of yet, hasn't been a great downfield passing attack. They've got a good running game. Michigan's got a great running game. And they have a different style of passing game, right? Quarterback that can get mobile. They have 3, maybe even 4 sometimes, tight ends that probably could start for almost any school in the country. But you know who else does? Michigan has at least 2. I think Luke Schoonmaker, don't expect him this Saturday, but he'll be back. You've got Eric All, of course, out for the season. Then you've got this freshman, Colston Loveland, that's having a hell of a season, right? He's playing great. He scored a touchdown against Ohio State. So it's a different approach than Ohio State. And that's why I thought to myself, I'm like, look, TCU, USC, I am confident Michigan can beat either one of those teams no matter what. Although USC's running attack from their quarterback, Caleb Williams, does present a different challenge for Michigan. But with Ohio State, Michigan's shown the ability to shut down the most explosive offense in all of college football over the last couple of years. And so with Georgia, it's almost like Michigan's looking into a mirror. So I'm not 100% confident as I would be against USC or TCU. So I'm actually hoping that Georgia does get the victory on Saturday against LSU, so there's no chance that Michigan faces them in the first round. We'll have to see. Michigan have to put in a much different game plan against those other teams, TCU, USC, than Georgia. But those tight ends, I mean, look, Brock Bowers crushed Michigan last year, and as a sophomore, he could probably be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft this year. He's going to come back next year. So I think Michigan will be about a 10-point underdog in that game. But I like Michigan's chances, of course, with this team. Rick Harford, he says $10, so he's getting this sticker on there. I'm going to start tossing a couple stickers in there. I'll just get Rick's out of the way because he's on screen now. Jack reminded me we got 2 for Cool Moti, and we got 2 for Rock City, right? So I'm going to put him right here next to the logo. Got Rick Harford. You know what? I put these things on. Sometimes they don't go on straight, and it's tougher to write on. Rick, Harfert, right? Rick? Read it to me, Jack. Yep. ERT, and today is the 29th of November. Rick, you are on there, my man. You're going to shout out almost every show the rest of the season. Cool Moti and Rock City, I'm going to get you guys on there in just a little second. We've got a couple other things to do, but we'll get to these super chats. My guy, Blue Wolverine, he just says, OS who? Ohio State can suck. I was so happy about that victory, guys. I mean, Jack, how's your body recovering? Because Jack watched the game with me in second half on Saturday. I slapped his hand so hard so many times, and I think once Donovan Edwards scored the touchdown to go up by 15, the first touchdown, I think I punched you in the chest like 15 times. Go ahead, Jack.
I'm alive. I'm well. I'm okay. I'm pumped for the playoff.
Yeah. All right. We are having a couple drinks, celebratory drinks. But Jack, I mean, he got like, Jack, you son of a bitch! Like hitting him like that. But he's been with us all season as the producer of the Michigan Football Report. Blue Wolverine, I'm going to get the tenors because it's one at a time. I'm going to get those bad boys out there. I'm just going to write on the stick here, Jack. I'm going to write like this. So Blue Wolverine. Nice. Blue Wolverine. I might have to rewrite that one. Yeah. All right, so we have got a couple $20 super chats. I saw Shane come in. Who else did a 20? I'm going to give him a verbal. What? Mr. Bojangles. You've got one coming as well. I am really bad at putting these things on, but I'm going to try my best. CFP Top 25 is about to get rolling. The guy from the committee just knocked on our door, so I am really I think we got to get a better system for these stickers. But nevertheless, Blue Wolverine, you are – no, I'm just saying I might have to replace you later, Blue Wolverine, but you are now on the helmet. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat as we are waiting the CFP Top 25. If you guys have not yet, subscribe to the channel. We have had a record season just like the Michigan football program, a record last couple weeks. we've gone from 22,000 to almost 24,000 subscribers, 10% growth in a matter of, since the Michigan State game or so. So please subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. It is youtube.com/Michigan TV. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Just hit that subscribe button right below the video here on YouTube. Mr. Bojangles 870, we are going to get in there. So, Jack, I think we've got 1, 2, 3. We got like 4 Michigan confidentials. All right. Oh, boy. I'm not sure. What's that? Yeah, it's Sunday, 11:45 Eastern. So just 5 days from now, Michigan's going to play Saturday night. We will be live on Sunday, 11:45 a.m. Eastern. We're going to stay live for probably about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and we will break down the matchup, let you know exactly who's Michigan's playing the moment we know. Tell you about the other CFP matchup. We'll start to try and I'll have kind of a preview ready for whatever the outcomes are of either side of wherever Michigan ends up playing. TCU's the obvious choice here, but any loss here could really shake all of that stuff up here on the college football playoff. Final weekend. It's the second to last playoff show, and then Sunday we will reveal it to you live here on YouTube, youtube.com/Michigan TV. All right, coming up on the show, moments away, we are going to reveal the college football playoff top 25. I see all kinds of comments coming in. Timothy Brandt, give me a Bosa. Tile Fires 1580 with a Bosa. Appreciate it. Carl Cordell's back in. Caleb Bearden says Michigan will win the national title, guaranteed. Caleb, you've got my guy Josh Sherwood, the 20 bones. Jack, you got to start doing the O's. You got to do the O's. We will talk about some news and rumors around the program, including injury updates. Nothing's definitive yet, right? Wednesday, Thursday will be like the practices that decide everything, but we have a pretty good idea who will and won't play after Sunday film session, Monday, and into Tuesday's game plan practice for this program. Big Ten Championship preview. I've looked at Purdue, looked at everything they've had, and we will kind of dive into what they've got going on, and then we'll take about 30 or so minutes of your live questions and answers. You guys ask the questions. We will answer them. All right, we're waiting just another couple moments, but let's get to Shane's question here on the Michigan Football Report. My guy Shane, he says, thanks for the Legends Made JJ Epic CJ. Okay, I get what he's saying now. He's basically saying thanks for the Legends Made JJ's Epic CJ. We can go long. Oh, top 25 coming in already. Rod Moore, Mikey Sanders, so flawless back end against NFL wide receivers. The Don, one-handed, JH24. He's saying a lot of stuff there, so Shane, I'm not following it right now as I'm going to Ohio wins. We are going to beat them. That's the best part of that, Shane. I'm just going to finish it with that. We are going to beat Ohio State or die trying. Jim Harbaugh said it a year and a half ago, and it has come to fruition as we have now the top 25 rolling in. They just knocked on the door, so let's kind of dive into it. Just put me on screen there, Jack, and here we go. We have got the top 25. It is North Carolina State at top 25 as we will get those up on the screen right now, actually. Mississippi State coming in at number 24. North Carolina is at 23. Central Florida, UCF is at 22. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, after losing to USC, they are coming in at 21. Now, top 20 coming in, flying in. They're going through this fast. They're knocking on the doors. They're telling us what is going on with the CFP top 25. Texas Longhorns are going to come in at number 20. They're telling me in my ear as we're getting it on screen now. South Carolina, what a year they're having, right? I think they could be a top 15 team to start the year next year, maybe better. And by the way, I think we've got a top 10 for next year, an early top 10 prepared. Somebody put in a question earlier today. We're going to put up on the screen later. South Carolina, Tulane. Nice year for them. They beat Kansas State earlier. They're having a heck of a year at 10-2. UCLA 9-3, and then Oregon is coming in there 9-3. They are at number 16 in the college football playoff top 25. Now, I'm not sure if these rankings really matter outside of the top 12 or so, but we will bring them to you as they are happening. All right, we're in the year. They're saying the top 15 has been put in the envelope. Oregon State is going to be your number 15 team. They're up 6 slots after beating the Oregon Ducks in a really weird game late on Saturday night. LSU at 14, Florida State at 13. Look at that little matchup. Who would have thought at the beginning of the year, first week of the season, Florida State, LSU came down to the wire, last play kind of thing, and they would be there in the top 15 right next to each other with 9-3 records. Washington at 12, and then Utah coming in at 11. So there is 25 through 11. Jack, if we don't come back instantly with these college football playoff top 25 rankings, we'll run through them. But I want to ask you guys this question. Where will Ohio State be ranked tonight? Because it's like an itch here. I think it's pretty interesting to consider what we might see from this Ohio State team in the CFP rankings. I got to grab that because who has been disrespected, right? USC has been consistently disrespected by this committee. They've been behind multiple lost teams. They were behind Alabama. They were ranked, 7th or 8th last week? I can't remember what ranking they were at for USC. So will just a win over a Notre Dame team, that's in the top 20, nevertheless, will that put them, catapult that up to number 4? I have held this belief, and please get in the live chat. Let me know where you guys think Ohio State will be ranked. I think it's mostly 5s, 5, 6, 5, 6s. USC was at 6? Okay. They're behind Alabama, though. That's kind of what I was thinking. So they're already behind a 2-loss team last week. Alabama's getting all kinds of love for some reason. So I think there's a chance. Ohio State could still be 4, and the committee is going to make everybody freak out. And then USC, if they were to win, they would jump in because they've got the conference championship over Ohio State. But the Kansas State Wildcats coming in at number 10, a 9-3 team. I mean, they were this close to beating TCU. They had a crazy loss early in the year to Tulane. If that loss had not happened, folks, I mean, they could be considered. They could be right there with top 5 potentially for a CFP berth with a win in the Big 12 title game on Saturday. Nevertheless, they have 3 losses. Clemson, they lost to South Carolina. South Carolina back-to-back top 10 wins, and Clemson out of the CFP discussion, but they come in at number 9 at 10-2. So that's where we're at. Now I think it's going to get a little bit interesting here inside of the top 8 for the college football playoff. Number 1, number 2, number 3, I think is guaranteed going to be in some order. Michigan, Georgia, TCU. Holding out hope that maybe Michigan could be number 1. Although I'm not sure if I want them to be number 1 because I do think a TCU matchup is a little bit more favorable for Michigan than potentially USC or potentially Ohio State. But we will get inside of the top 8 here in a moment. Number 8 coming in. By the way, like this video. Let's get to 100 likes ASAP if you haven't liked it yet. Where do we have likes? Number 8 is Penn State. How about this consideration? We're at 73 likes on the video so far, 75 now, so please give us a like. The more people, the more you like it, it'll put this in the feed of more Michigan football, more college football fans, help us grow the show. Appreciate all of you that have liked it and, of course, have been super chatting and commenting. We'll take a ton of questions, so keep the live chat flowing. As soon as these rankings are above, I'm focusing here on the live chat that's right in front of me. Penn State at number 8. I think they're getting disrespected. Why should Penn State be 8 and Alabama be ranked higher than them, right? Alabama's got lost to Tennessee, okay? They've got a loss to LSU. Now, we're going to probably see you're going to see those teams here in the top 7, but Penn State's losses are to number 2 or maybe number 1 Michigan and number 4 or 5 Ohio State. So those are better losses than Alabama. Plus, Alabama has those near losses, just those small wins they got over Alabama, came down to the last drive. To Texas, and then Texas A&M, who went for 2 to win the game. Or Alabama could have 4 losses themselves as a preseason number 1 team. That's kind of hard to believe, but nevertheless, that is where they are, the Alabama Crimson Tide. So Penn State coming in 8, the 10-2 Nittany Lions. I think they're going to have a hell of a year next year. I think next year Michigan's going to be ranked the Big Ten favorite next year, but with Ohio State replacing C.J. Stroud and maybe some transfers here and there, I think number 2 in the Big Ten East is going to be between Ohio State and Penn State. It's not guaranteed it's going to be Ohio State. That is for sure. Tennessee is your number 7 team. So that kind of gets rid of the teams that I think no one with a realistic mind out there thinks have any chance, especially with Tennessee's quarterback getting injured, of getting in the college football playoff. The top 4 is going to be Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, Ohio State, and Alabama in some order, which we're going to give to you in just a moment. But let's get the Bosa's rolling. Bosa. All right, let's figure out who is commenting here on the Michigan Football Report. Give me some Bosa. Caleb Langford says, "Go Michigan!" Ow, ow! Thank you, Caleb, for being such a big Michigan Football Report supporter. I heard that my friend told me that you were going to join the show tonight. He said you might have been a Georgia fan, but you're showing mad love to Michigan. Southwest Zeus Martinez says Bosa. Old Man Camping Bosa. Patrick Brewer Bosa. More Bosas from Carl Cordell, Mike Layton, Aiden Elston, Alejandro C. Dibaka, Witt 23, Austin Adams, Nazier, Austin says hail, Scuba Photo with a Bosa, Brad Buttgright, Bosa Go Blue, and then Juan Pablito. I'm singing, Juan. He says, don't sing ever again. I am singing. Let's go to the rankings, Jack. Let's kind of skip over, a subscribe, ask for the audience. Got the CFP in my ear. Alabama is going to be your number 6 team, folks, as you see here coming up on screen there. Alabama, number 6. So here's what's going to get interesting. I think it's going to be interesting between 5 and 4, Ohio State and USC, and 1 and 2, Michigan and Georgia. As we await number 5, well, the committee will probably jump to number 1 or something like that. They always seem to mix it up. I'll give more shots while we're waiting for number 5. Michael Harris, the Bosa. Dom Polidori with a beat Ohio State again. Keep coming the Bosas. Let's get that chat right up. Let's take over the internet with the beat Ohio State again. All right, number 5 is coming in. It is Ohio State. Will be ranked number 5. The 11-1 Buckeyes got their absolute butts kicked by Michigan, and they drop from 2-5, 11-1 regular season. Ryan Day, is he on the hot seat? What is going on with that Buckeyes program? They come in at number 5. So I think it's going to be pretty clear. USC is going to be your number 4. We'll get them on screen here in just a second. And then TCU, as I've got in my ear now, will be number 3. So 6 Alabama, 5 Ohio State, 4 USC, 3 is TCU. We will wait number 1 and number 2 coming up here in just a moment. Let's see where we go. Jack, if we're going to wait for the committee to give us 1 and 2, you can come back to me as we're waiting. I'll give a few more shout-outs, a few more takeaways here. Comment Bosa as we are waiting for number 1 and 2. All right, got the producer in my ear. The number 2 team in the college football playoff is... It's Michigan, folks. Michigan is number 2, and Georgia is now ranked number 1. So, frankly, they went chalk. No real surprises here. As we will go over, let's stay on this for a second. We'll go over the top 25 here in 1 second. But Georgia, they are going to play LSU on Saturday. I believe if they win that game, I think, I think to myself, maybe they keep it number 1 even if they lost, but they won't. If they win that game, they will get the choice. They will play in Atlanta in the Peach Bowl in the semifinal. That means Michigan at number 2, they would play out in the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. Now, I think if Michigan, even if they were to lose to Purdue, I think they would stay either number 2 or number 3. I don't think Michigan would drop to number 4 even with a loss. So I think it's pretty much clear. If Georgia beats LSU, Michigan will play in Phoenix. So let's ask the people. Let's go to the top 25. We can ask people a question first, Jack. Why don't we ask them about the committee rankings? We got a question for you guys. Come in here on the show. I want to know what you guys think of these committee rankings. Let us know. Grade the committee rankings A, B, C, D, or F. I guess I'm going to give it an A-, right? I really do think that Michigan deserves to be number 1 because they've been the most dominant team all year. They've really only had 2 games within 10 points, right? Maryland, that was a fake 10 points because they came back and scored a touchdown late. And then Illinois. Okay, cool. Everyone has a tough game this year, but look at what Georgia's done. I mean, they struggled with Kent State. They need a miracle to beat Missouri. They've struggled at least 5 or 6 games so far this season. So I'm going to give it an A-. Michigan, they've got the best win in college football, right, of these top teams at least, beating Ohio State on the road. They've got the second best win too, right? They beat a top 10, number 8 ranked now, Penn State at home, destroyed them, beat them by, what was it, 31-3, whatever it was, 24-3 in the second half. The final score of that game was 41-17, I believe, right, Jack? So let me know what you guys are thinking. A, B, C, or D or F. I think what you see on the bottom of the screen, Michigan, the best win and the second best win. I'm sorry, not the second best win, the best second win. So give me your grades, A, B, C, D, or F. We'll kind of keep diving into this. I want to give some shout-outs to people who are showing love in the YouTube comments here. As I lost my chat stream here, I got to figure it out. I got so many windows going. I got to delete some of these windows. We got Bosa. We got an A from Josh Sherwood. Josh, we'll get to your super chat here in a few minutes. Really appreciate that. A from Go Blue 1881 John. We've got somebody calling Michael Harris sucks. Carl Coral coming in that one. Throw me that football. Does Michigan keep the playbook open for JJ going forward? All right, we will get to the super chats here in a second. Keep it rolling. Let me know what you guys are thinking. These committee grades. Let me know how you would grade them if you were a committee member. I got to figure out where my live chat went because, oh, there it goes. Okay, I finally found it. So thank you for bearing with me there. Let's go back to the top 25. 25 down to 1. North Carolina State, Mississippi State, North Carolina, UCF, and Notre Dame is 25 through 21. Rounding into the top 20, we have Texas, the Longhorns. You're hearing these Xavier Worthy transfer rumors? Xavier Worthy to USC? I don't know. Maybe you should go to Miami. South Carolina, 2 huge wins, back-to-back top 10 wins for them. Tulane, big win earlier in the year over Kansas State. They've got 2 losses. UCLA, Oregon State. It's just like a Pac-12 smorgasbord there around 6-17, 16-15. Then LSU, they'll play in the SEC title game. With 3 losses, they have no chance. So I don't care even if they win the SEC. I don't care even if they beat Georgia by 35 points. Florida State, a team that beat LSU, Washington, and then Utah. Jack, I think I saw the stat earlier today. Think about this, folks. What a year for the Pac-12, right? Not the dominant team, but USC has a chance to get in here. They've got 6 teams with 9 wins or more so far this year for the Pac-12. You're seeing a bunch from here inside of the top 20 and beyond. I mean, hell, just right there, Oregon State, Washington, Utah. Had a few, Oregon, and some others. But now let's look at the top 10, where we have Kansas State at number 10 with 3 losses. Clemson, Penn State, Tennessee, that group 9 through 7 all have 2 losses. Then you get inside the top 6. You have a 2-loss Alabama. You have a 1-loss Ohio State at 5, 1-loss USC at 4, and then the 3 undefeated teams, TCU, Michigan, and then you've got the Georgia Bulldogs from the SEC, who will look for an SEC championship game that they didn't win last year. They got crushed by Alabama, got a rematch, which I think a lot of Ohio State fans are hoping this year that they lose to Michigan in their last game of the year, like Georgia lost to Alabama last year by multiple 3 scores or more, and then you get potentially a rematch in the national title game like Georgia did, and give them a little bit of taste of their own medicine. I don't think that will happen because I do think that Michigan would beat Ohio State in a rematch. All right, let's get through the questions. All right, guys. Jack, after this question, what we'll do, I need you to keep track, Jack. Keep a little note there. How many Michigan confidentials do we owe? We owe 5 confidentials. I don't know if we can get that many this night because I didn't prepare it. We only had like 2 or 3, 20. Yeah, we might have to do. I don't know if I can do the videos. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. So I am going to get a. I'm going to get a one for this guy. So Mr. Bojangles, I'm going to get one. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Mr. Bo. NL. Okay. And then was it 870? I'm going to put that down below. Okay. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to put it on the helmet here, Mr. Bojangles. So thank you. We'll do a Michigan Confidential for you here in a second. My guy, Josh Sherwood, he says, Bosa, put me on that helmet. You got it, Josh. Thank you so much. I'm putting you on there. Let me read the rest of it. The best Michigan win yet. Let's get that natty, guys. I think this is a team of destiny. I really do. I have yet to parse through this data, but I do want to say something with Josh's question. It kind of pinged something I was working on last night into this morning. But the NCAA history college football, it's very dispersed, but I was able to download some data going back to 1954 season right now. And I want to go back a little further, but I think there is a chance that could be made, and I should be able to tell you by Wednesday or Thursday for sure. I'm going through every single team from every season in college football history. There is a chance that Michigan could be, when my data dump is done, I've got everything sorted out in an Excel sheet, the most dominant second half team, just from pure score, pure margin of victory in the second half only, the most dominant second half team in the history of college football. I'm pretty confident, although I haven't sorted every single one yet. I haven't gone, I'm just focusing on undefeated teams because it'd be tough for a 1-loss or 2-loss team, but I'll check, right? There's a chance. But going back 50 years, as far as I can tell so far, 70 years, I'm sorry, Michigan is the most dominant, biggest margin of victory, biggest score differential in the second half of any team in 70 years, nearly 70 years of college football, at least of undefeated teams. But I'm going to have that full list for you out here in a couple days. Let me get Josh on there. Guys, stick with us. We are going to preview the game. We're going to talk about Michigan football injury report and go over what we're hearing about 2023, some guys who might leave the program, some guys who might be staying for an extra year, 5th year, 6th year, and stuff like that. So stick with us. We've got a ton more to talk about here on the Michigan football report from Chat Sports. I feel like, Jack, you know what we'll do is if I mess any of these up with the wet ink, Mr. Bojangles going on there, if we mess any of these up, Jack, make sure that we go back to the video and we oh gosh, I messed up Mr. Bojangles. Yeah. We will get you on there. Josh, I'm going to put you on there, but it's actually with these markers, it's a little tougher than I thought to get him on there. Josh, you're going right next to the Michigan logo right there. Got Josh, got Mr. Bojangles. If I messed up, we're going to make him look real nice. Might even get a label maker, just put him on there so it's not so messy. So we've got a few more. We got Rock City, right? I'm going to get one for Rock City. Yep. I think Rock City gets 2, right? So it's Cool Moti. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you got to remind me of that, Jack. I'll get those ones on there. So got Rock Cities 2. I'm going to try and let this dry. So I'm going to basically be writing here when I feel like they're dry, and then I'll put them on the sticker machine here at the Michigan Football Report. Carl Cordell coming in with the question. He says, throw me that football. Where'd the ball go? There we go. I dropped the football a little bit ago. Carl. Hey. Okay. There you go, Carl. Appreciate everything. Appreciate the second super chat. I do. You know what, Alejandro? I wasn't prepared. I thought I had a marker. It wouldn't work, so I need a Sharpie instead of a dry erase. Although I think this is a Sharpie. I don't know. They said it was a Sharpie, but I do feel like it's a dry erase here. So we will get you guys in there. Carl Corda says, throw me the football. Does Michigan keep the playbook open for JJ going forward? Look, I dug into this a little bit in the in the post-game show and the Sunday show after the game on Saturday. Is Michigan got a lot of confidence. J.J. McCarthy got a lot of confidence maybe in himself by hitting those throws. And if you look back to the middle part of this season, the Maryland game in Indiana, and even like Penn State, Iowa, where he was missing some deep throws, what was happening is he was seeing a guy open, and sometimes even seeing a guy like wide open, Andrew Anthony a couple times of note, and he was trying to just be like, oh God, this guy open, I've got a rocket arm 40 yards downfield, fire it. What was different on Saturday, at least on the Cornelius Johnson touchdown pass where he was wide open, and on the tight end freshman, just missing my brain right now. Yeah, Colson Loveland. I'm like, what did you notice that differently on those two passes versus the rest of the season? He lofted him up there like we saw from him a few times last year, perfectly in stride. He knew that he didn't have to be perfect. He just had to be within 3 or 4 feet of the guy. And if it's lofted, the guy can adjust to it like Cornelius Johnson did. Colson Loveland caught his right in stride. So I think he gained some confidence, right? He's going to step into those throws against Purdue in the college football playoff semifinal and the national championship guy, having confidence. But I do think that Michigan gained confidence in him, right? Even if Blake Corum is not going to play, we don't think, on Saturday. And so Michigan will throw a little more, most likely. But even if Blake Corum is back for the semifinal, for the national title game, when he's back, I should say, I do think Michigan gained confidence in JJ. JJ gained confidence himself, and you will see more downfield passing as the season progresses. I think it took a big step forward to what we can see out of this offense in 2023. Make sure you guys are using hashtag Michigan, or as you're seeing, Super Chat to get your questions answered. We haven't even gotten started with the show, right? We are still just reacting to the top 25 rankings as we're going through them. And then we also we have all kinds of things to talk about. We've got the college football playoff top 25 we talked about. We're going to take your questions, as I mentioned. And then we are going to get into the top Michigan football news and rumors. And we are going to do a Michigan-Purdue Big Ten Championship preview. So we've been live here for about 40 minutes so far, and we've got at least another hour or so left to go. So thank you to everyone who is watching. We have got, what do we got here, Jack, watching on the show? We got about 400 people live, and we have 166 likes. So can we get to 200 likes? Look, if you like beating Ohio State, like the damn video, hit that like button. Only half of you or less of the 360 people who are watching have hit that like button. So make sure you guys hit like, show some love, put this in there. Someone's saying start the damn game. I don't even know what you mean, Ben. Start what game? There's no game. Yoder for president from Rick Harford. Appreciate it, Rick. We've got you on the helmet. A lot of awesome chat going on today, Jack. A lot of good stuff. If you see any good questions or any good statements, Jack, make sure you let me know on those. But appreciate everybody that has got going on. What are we going to next, Jack? We are going to the latest Michigan football news and rumors. So stick with us here. It is the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. We are going to dive into today's news coming up right now. You are watching the Michigan Football Report. I am your host, James Yoder. We are going to dive into the latest news and rumors here around the Michigan football program. Film this Tuesday night. It's going to put it out on demand as well Wednesday early here on the channel. Make sure you get that ranking there. There you go, Jack. Michigan is ranked number 2 in the college football playoff. Got my guy, producer Jack Lauderay, with me on my right, your left, I guess it is. Breaking down the top 25 and what happened around this program. But let's take a look at the CFP rankings that were released Tuesday night and dive into what our just general thoughts are here. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU is 3, USC is 4. So you've got the 4 teams that really control their own destiny that will play in college football conference championship games this weekend. 2 teams sitting on the sidelines that I don't think deserve it because of the magnitude of their losses, Ohio State 5 and Alabama 6. Folks, 5 days from now, the college football playoff rankings will be finalized on Sunday. We will be live at 10:45 Central, where we live here in Dallas, 11:45 Eastern, for the college football playoff final rankings and the matchups. Who will Michigan take on, right? If everything holds serve, it won't be that exciting, believe me, but we will have a Michigan TCU, a Michigan USC, maybe a Michigan Georgia, hell, maybe even a Michigan Ohio State, as things could break down. We'll have a preview for you on Sunday, but we will react live with you guys taking your questions and reacting to the final college football playoff as Michigan will go to the CFP for the second year in a row. All right, coming up in a second, we're going to talk about who might return in 2023. There's a bunch of guys who are either fifth year that absolve their normal eligibility, or 4-year guys who have that 5th year because of the COVID, both 5th and 6th. So we're going to dive into that. I've put the word out and asked a former roommate of one and a couple people who know the parents of another, and I think I've got a good read on where things will shake out. So stick around with us. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But I want to ask you guys a question. What is your one-word reaction to Ohio State ranked number 5 in the college football playoff? Mine is expected, okay? That's what we expected, right? I don't think there's any major surprise here at that being number 5. Now, I did think that there was a chance they could get number 4 because the committee, they haven't done it this year, but the committee has played games in years past. By, 1 year, Texas A&M, there was like 10 undefeated teams in early mid-October, first ranking, and Texas A&M was ranked number 4 with the loss and stuff like that. So they play games here and there, but I am going to go with expected. I'm seeing Marcus Williams, Mike Layton, S. Kukios, also expected, overrated, and respect is what they are saying. So let me know in the comments your one-word reaction to Ohio State being ranked number 5. Your 2022 Big Ten Coach of the Year is Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh. I was like, back-to-back years, but no. You know who won it last year? Mel Tucker won the Coach of the Year last year. Maybe you could say it was deserved because the head-to-head win against Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, but Michigan went 11-1 in the regular season last year. The only loss was to Michigan State. So they gave it to Mel Tucker, the 10-2 Spartans, who lost their bowl game without Kenneth Walker. We really, looking back what happened in 2020, looking what happened in 2022, you could make an argument that Kenneth Walker was their entire program. Outside that year, Mel Tucker's career as a coach at Colorado for a year, Michigan State 3 years, looking like kind of a disaster at this point. But congratulations to Jim Harbaugh. Both his peers, the coaches, and the Big Ten media voted him the Big Ten Coach of the Year. So congrats to him. How about Michigan defensive lineman Mike Morris, who was only in the game against Ohio State for 12 snaps. He is your 2022 Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year. Mike Morris could go pro, and I think a lot of people expect him, but he could, of course, return. First year as a starter, so he potentially could come back, try to increase his draft stock. But he reminds me a lot of David Ojabo in that he came on and Ojabo didn't lead Michigan in sacks last year, but Mike Morris did this year. But Ojabo made a big impact, maybe bigger than Morris's this year. But with him winning Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year, I expect him to be second or third team All-American potentially. Hell, maybe first team All-American. But shout out to Mike Morris. What a kind of turnaround from him from being a bench player, backup player for 3 seasons, and now being the Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Year. All right, guys, we showed you these in the show. I think this was, Monday, Jack? Yeah, it was yesterday, Monday. And they're still pretty cheap, right? These are 2 shirts that I think are awesome. Jack and I both ordered them. We'll be rocking them at the national title game. Jack, you and I both got this one right here. It is a blue banner across the top. It's not really, it doesn't come through on screen as well as it does in person. Blue banner. It says M Club supports you, just like the players were now too. This bad boy is only $22.49. Link, can we toss those in the comments, Jack? The link to them in the top. I got them right here. Both of these are available. So you've got the M Club, chatsports.com/M Club. I put the link in the live chat. Also, if you're watching later on, it'll be down in the comments in the description of today's video. And how about this bad boy? The Jordan Brand Michigan Wolverine shirt. I just put buy now, right? Because it's so damn cheap. It's only $18.74. This shirt is awesome. I got one of these coming for myself as well. $18.74, chatsports.com/buy now. Buy one of these for yourself. or buy one for someone you like. If you got a Michigan football fan who's a brother, cousin, friend, your sister's stupid boyfriend, he likes Michigan as well, get him a cheap gift. He'll see it's Jordan Brand. He'll see it's awesome, and he'll think you spent a lot more than you did. 1874. The links are in the live chat, the comments, and the description of today's video. Money, 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 Moody. Back-to-back winners of the Big Ten Kicker of the Year, and he is a Lou Groza Award finalist for the nation's best kicker. So he could potentially win back-to-back national awards. Michigan has a ton of coaches and players up for awards. Olu Oluwatimi is a finalist, like I told you on yesterday. He is now a finalist, was named earlier today for the Lombardi Award? I can't remember which one he was up for, but whichever is the best interior defensive lineman. It's escaping me at the moment. We've got Jesse Minter up for the Broyles Award. I think Jim Harbaugh will be a finalist, if not, maybe they'll win. People are saying the TCU coach, the USC coach for AP Coach of the Year, and various other potential awards. Lou Groza, maybe back-to-back for Jake Money Moody. So that is the award season for Michigan. Big Ten offensive awards and offensive first, second, third team, etc. Mozzie Smith was a first teamer on the Big Ten, all Big Ten defensive team. So that is the awards that have been given out today from the Big Ten. But I want to ask you guys this question. If TCU or USC lose on Saturday, or TCU is Saturday afternoon, 12 o'clock Eastern time, and then USC is actually Friday night against Utah, a team that's already beat them. If one of those teams loses, should Ohio State jump them and be in the college football playoff? Give me a Y or an N. I'm going to go through a few of these from the YouTube live show. So give me a Y or an N. I'll give shout-outs here for the next 10 or 12 seconds. I got a no from Brandon Hatmaker. We've got a Jason Panic says USC yes, TCU no. I kind of agree with that one, although I don't want Ohio State to make the CFP. TCU, I think if they lose and they keep it respectable, 10 points, 12 points or less, I do think that TCU should still get in. No from Xavier, no from Zaire, no from Rob, no from Julian Garcia, no from Adam, or Austin Adams, Bill Graves. Basically, it's no's down the line. I have not seen a single one. Phil, Rob saying no as well. So let me know down in the comments description Y or N. All right, Michigan is planning as of today to rest up a few of their starters who didn't get in the game much, right? They got in a little bit, but didn't get in the game much on Saturday against Ohio State. So Blake Corum played in 6 plays all in from what I take from Pro Football Focus does these, play charts and everything like that. I didn't see him there for 6 plays. I only thought he had like 3 plays, but they said he played 6. Mike Morris played in 12 plays. Luke Schoonmaker's been injured for a while. I don't think they'll miss much from Schoonmaker necessarily because of Colson Loveland's emergence. As long as Donovan Edwards can continue to do, as long as he didn't tweak anything, which I haven't heard anything, and he can be their running back, that takes care of Corum. Mike Morris, Michigan did a heck of a job on defense. Now, they didn't have the pass rush without him, but I think Michigan will be fine. 16-point favorites over Purdue. Whether or not they blow Purdue out, like they did last year, 42-3 over Iowa, I think is yet to be seen. But I think Michigan can get by Purdue. If it means that these 3 guys will be back 100% for the college football playoff on New Year's Eve, I think it's well worth them sitting out these games. How about 2023? Michigan has a handful of players. We're going to talk about 6 of them here that could return for next year. Now, their eligibility has either been expired, I think all the guys here would technically be out of eligibility, right? Luke Schoonmaker expected to return as of now. Michael Barrett, been with the program for 5 years, redshirted in 2018. He's been on the field a ton, 2020, 2021, 2022, here and there in 19. Remember, you guys, he threw a pass, I think, to Daxton Hill in 2019, if I recall correctly. I think it was against Army. Mikey Sainristil. Imagine if you get those guys back. 2 starters from your defense, Mike Barrett, Mike Sainristil, who I think might be the MVP of the defense, all things considered. Was really disappointed that he did not get all Big Ten first, second, or third team. Mike Morris, 50-50. It's going to depend on his draft stock. And then Michigan cornerback G-Mon Green, who started 8 games so far this year, 50-50 back on G-Mon Green. Those last 2 guys, I think it's going to come down to whether they think they can get drafted. Morris, top 2 or 3 rounds. G-Mon Green, really drafted at all. Eric All had season-ending surgery about 6 or so weeks back, and from what we're hearing, as of now, he is strongly considering, I would even call him strongly leaning towards returning next season, right? He thought that after the 2021 season, he could be a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. Coming back this year, had he had a season that he thought, and many people thought he could have, which would probably been around 45 catches, 600 yards, 6-7 touchdowns, he could have been a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick this year, maybe better, depending on how they judged him athletically, which is what he is known for. But after not having a huge start to the season, I did a decent few games, but being injured, I think it's a good call for him to come back, right? Maybe Michigan can get him some sort of NIL deal so he can live a little large as a fifth-year player next year. But think about the embarrassment of riches Michigan will have at the tight end position. If you've got Eric Goff, a starter, Luke Schoonmaker, who's been a starter, Colson Loveland, who's now your starter, all back at the tight end position. I know Jim Harbaugh at the beginning of the year said, we've got 10 guys at tight end. You could have 3 guys who are all conference-level players at tight end, all return for this team in 2023. And I think a lot of the reason why there's 2 reasons this recruiting class has been a little slow this year, although Michigan's had 4 commitments since Saturday, 1 in 2024, though, is I think Michigan is allowing guys like G-Mon Green, Mike Sainristil, and others, Eric All, Luke Schoonmaker, to come back for a 5th or 6th year, use that COVID year of eligibility, so they don't want to do what Michigan did under Matt Dudek a few times, which is all of a sudden you're sitting there and you've got guys who are getting ready to enroll in school and you don't have a spot for them because people came back to the program. So maybe after the Big Ten Championship game, these guys start making the decisions before signing day on December 21st. Maybe that is the reason that Michigan's going to have a smaller class that won't probably be ranked inside of the top 16, 18, probably actually around number 20, 21, 22 when all things are said and done. So keep an eye out for Eric Hall's announcement. Maybe it won't come till January, but we might know here in the next coming days or weeks. Let me ask you guys this question. Which was a better team? Now, if you've got to be in your mid-30s, I think, at least, to give a realistic answer to this question. Because if you're younger than 25, 28, 30, this is 25 years ago. If you're younger than 35, I would say, you don't remember the 97 team well enough, and you can't kind of compare apples to apples. Now, I will say this. 97 was a more talented team, probably top to bottom. You go back and look at the players on that team. Hell, Tom Brady was the backup quarterback. You had 5 offensive linemen who I think 4 of them got drafted. You had defensive players, Ian Gold and others that were all over the field. I think something like 35 guys in that roster played in the NFL at some sort. But they didn't dominate every game. Penn State, away game against Penn State was probably the most dominant game of the year, but they struggled against maybe the top 5 Ohio State at home, right? It was a very close game. I think the final score was something like 20-14, whatever it was. But you needed Charles Woodson to do everything. Not taking anything away from that team. They weren't as dominant at times as this 2022 team has been pretty much the entire year outside of the Illinois game. But I think if you look at quarterback, I guess at this point I'd give it to 97. Defense, I'd slightly give it to 97. Maybe the best defense in Big Ten history, slightly give it to them. Offensive line, running game, big to Michigan. And then tight ends, wide receivers, although 97 had Jeremy Tooman, I might actually give that combo to this year's Michigan team, even though this has been a lackluster wide receiver group. All that year's team really had was Ty Streets making a big-time impact. So let me know, 2022 or 97. I got Brandon saying 2022. Terry V. Sky says, I'm at 45. This team is not as good as 97, but it's close. This is from the live chat. Let me know down in the comments if you're watching this later on the Michigan Football Report channel later on in the week. If you guys have not yet, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll put the link in the live chat here, and it'll be down in the comments and the description. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. If you're watching this live, I'll follow some of you guys back right now. I'll look at my phone here in a couple moments. It's at James Yoder. I'm putting the link in the live chat. Go ahead and give me a follow at James Yoder. I'm having a pretty good run on Twitter lately, so if you like all Michigan football all the time outside of YouTube, go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter. Are we going to get into our first of 2 Michigan football Q&A mailbags? So if you guys have yet seen some Super Chats coming in, do we have any Super Chats to get to yet, Jack, or no? One to get to. We owe a wheel spin, so let's do that before we dive into take the Super Chat, Jack. Do the wheel spin. I'll put a couple more. Do we have I'll do a couple more of these helmet stickers to make sure we're filling this bad boy up. And I'm going to put the helmet on for a little bit here too. So give me the wheel here in a second. But let's go to the Super Chat here from Brennan Mag. He says, joining late, did you mention, I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, the decommit? No, I have not yet. I have not been following the ins and outs. I'm focusing heavily on Jaden Davis. I've acquired a source on Jaden Davis, very close to one of his coaches, and have got some good information on that. But decommitments, there's the player he's talking about, who I'm not going to hack his name, Achimapong, withdrew everything from his social media profiles about Michigan, and as such, I haven't followed it closely, but there you have it. So I have not talked about it yet. We're going to start focusing much more on recruiting starting next week. Just call it a week from today, Tuesday or so. We'll have about 10, 12 straight days of very heavy recruiting content leading up to signing day, which this year is on December 21st. So thank you so much for the question, Brennan. Appreciate that. We'll dive into recruiting a week from today. All right, go ahead and shout out your city as Jack has got the before you spin it, Jack. Stop it for a second. I want to read off the list for everybody here on the show. Make sure everyone knows what's on that bad boy. The 8 spots in the wheel. So red is tell a dad joke. Yellow, or no, we actually messed up the color. So red, colors don't matter. So tell a dad joke. Sing hails to the victors. 5 squats. Wear a wig for 5 minutes. I've got the blonde wig here. Shot a fireball. Drink half of a beer. 5 push-ups. Prank call the Michigan State lawyer. So those are the 8 options on the wheel. Producer Jack Lauderay. Spin that bad boy, Jack. 5 push-ups. Oh boy, Jack. We should do for Sunday. Let's get a camera over top. Let's get a squat and push-ups camera. Okay, we'll get one over top, or we'll get like a push-ups here. So Jack is going to push me full screen if you want, Jack, or don't. I guess.
I mean, I'll stay on
stay on
since you're
screen.
going down.
Jack, that's what she said. I will.
Caught him.
Yeah, got him. Okay, guys. I'm on the ground of our lovely studio. Luckily, we just got new carpet put in about 2 months ago, so it's not as gross as it once was. I'm going down, Jack. Ooh, give me a grade on these push-ups, Jack.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's an A+ for effort.
Good form, right?
form.
You guys have seen, I've done push-ups last year around this time, and was it earlier this summer? I can't remember. I did the 6 beers in 5 minutes or 12 minutes, it was 50 push-ups and 2 beers in 2 minutes. I can't remember what it was, but nevertheless, shout out your city. I'm going to give some shout-outs here. We have a ton more content to go over. Our fan that is keeping me cool because our office is stupidly hot in the winter. Got a fan on me fixing that right there. What city are you watching from? I am going to give some shout-outs. Battle Creek, Michigan from Jason. Sterling Heights, Sterling Heights, Ohio? Ovid, Michigan. Rushville, Ohio. Carl Corridor, my guy. Julian Garcia, Ovid, Michigan. Ann Arbor from G20. You think you're beating Georgia here? No smarter than a Tennessee fan. Did you? I think AEM 1030, he made fun of people for not being smarter than a Tennessee fan. Must be a Georgia guy, but he misspelled the word here. That's kind of funny. Jack, go in Studio C if you can. Grab me one of these bad boys while we are giving these shout-outs if you can. Toss that in the trash. There's a little bit left, so there you go. Maybe just put it on the ground or something. All right, I'm going to give some shout-outs why Jack is going to get a refill because we got a bunch of super chats, and I'm going to have to take some drinks here. Dayton, Ohio from Phil. Guys, stick with us. We're going to take your questions live. I'm going to take about 15 minutes of questions. We're going to do our Big Ten Championship preview. Then I'm going to take another 15 minutes of questions. Dayton, Ohio, I said from Phil Newsom. I'm going to skip down here. JC says, a Columbus, Ohio, Michigan fan. What a guy. What a guy. I was raised by Wolves, but they were in Ohio. But nevertheless, some of those Wolves grew up in the state of Michigan. I've got some family members who went to Michigan, etc. So that is how I grew up outside of Cleveland, Ohio, as I guess the world's greatest Michigan fan, according to myself, voting committee 1. But nevertheless, shout out your city. Fort Wayne from Brandon McBoom. Doug Snyder, how you doing, Doug? Bentonville, Arkansas. Thank you for watching down there from Bentonville. So let me know where you guys are watching from. Let's take a few more of these. So we got Crack the Nut says, for competitors only. All right. Do you think JJ doubles his yards next year? He damn well better. Salt Lake City from Alejandro C. DiBaca, and Greenville, South Carolina from Paul B. I like this question here. Thomas Weber says, I think 2022 is more talented for the simple fact the competition on the NCAA is more stronger than it was in 97, and they still managed to run the table. Very point. AEM 1030 says Greenville, South Carolina. Also, too, so Dan Banks and AEM 1030 from Greenville, South Carolina, and Paul B. from Greenville, South Carolina. Are we getting trolled here? 3 viewers out of whatever. This cord is, I'm doing push-ups, my cord's getting messed up. From Greenville, South Carolina. You guys should get together. Like, if you guys can coordinate somehow, right? Put each other's phone numbers in the chat and get together and take a picture and send it. We'll put it on the show next week, or hell, tonight. We'll be live for another hour. Greenville can't be that big of a place. You guys should meet up, have a watch party of this show. He says, Carl, I work for an HVAC company. We can fix the list. Studio heating, cooling, no problem. Well, we're out in Dallas, Carl. Carl, I wish I could fly out here. Maybe we can. I'm not sure. I like this. Jeremy Bazalewicz says, sorry, Jeremy, for the name pronunciation. He says, calling a 15-0 finish. I think it's apt, right? This is the team of destiny, I think, and I do think that Michigan has a very strong chance of winning the national title. Yoder, who would you rather play first, TCU or USC? Go blue for crack the nut. Yeah, use hashtag Michigan. Toss it on screen, Jack. So, guys, we're going to take 15 minutes of questions. Questions straight up right now on the show. Use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat to get on the show. Before we start the live Q&A, Jack, I want to give a couple more of these helmet stickers. So remind me who we have. I want to answer this question from Crack the Nut. Who would I rather play, TCU or USC? It's TCU for me. Reason number one being, their coach, Sonny Dykes, he's had a hell of a year this year, 12-0, going for a conference title. But you guys remember about 7-8 years ago, he was the head coach at Cal. He stunk as a coach. Their offense stunk. They were trying to run a Ohio State offense now with terrible talent. So I think the talent level, Michigan would have such a talent advantage over TCU. Although Max Duggan, really good quarterback, having a hell of a year. He might be a Heisman finalist. Who would have thought that 6-8 weeks ago? But I think Caleb Williams, if he was just a passer, I would be okay. I think Michigan would dominate them just like they've done to Ohio State the last 2 years. But he is a scrambler. He's not like Michael Vick back there, but he kind of reminds me, kind of like Kyler Murray, but doesn't like have the straightaway speed. But he just can dance and move around. It's such a pretty thing to see. And I was kind of down on him. I thought he was just getting cheap yards, but he has really impressed me over the past 3 or 4 weeks. And it's unfortunate for Blake Corum. He's not going to win the Heisman because he didn't play in that game. He's not going to play in the Big Ten championship game. So he's just not going to win the Heisman at this point, which is a bummer because I do think Michigan is just so close, back-to-back years of 2 straight Heisman trophies, right? If Alabama doesn't come back on that last drive last year, tie the ball game or whatever, win against Auburn, it was like the last drive. I can't remember if they went to overtime. Bryce Young doesn't win the Heisman. Who's number 2? Aiden Hutchinson, right? Hutchinson also had that play against Michigan State, the fumble, all that they overturned. Terrible call. And then this year, if it wasn't for Blake Corum getting hurt against Illinois at the end of the first half, he scores another couple touchdowns that game. He maybe scores those 2 touchdowns that Donovan Edwards, or maybe one of them, but has 100, 150 yards against Ohio State. The Heisman is yours. Same thing happened to Jim Harbaugh at Stanford. He had the back-to-back Heisman runner-ups, 2009 and 2010. I think he's going to have it this year as well, although some people are saying, well, Blake Corum got hurt. He's not going to finish number 2 anymore. It might be Max Duggan or C.J. Stroud. We will see. I think Corum was up there. He will finish second ultimately to Caleb Williams. All right, keep using Super Chat. Jack, what's that? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I see some really good questions in the chat. We will not be able to put them on screen unless you physically put hashtag Michigan in your comment as well. Yeah. So, like Daniel Shaw did, hashtag Michigan, then asked his question, you got to put hashtag Michigan or we will not be able to put it on the screen. I see some really good questions, but add hashtag Michigan so we can have it in the video.
Whew. My hair got messed up, Jack, doing those push-ups and sit-ups. I'm sweating over here. Carl, I think I need to fly you down to fix the heating, but we're in like this massive office building. We're on the 21st floor. We got 5,000 or so square feet, 8 studios in downtown Dallas, and they just really struggle with heat and cooling, right? When it gets to summer, it's too cold. Now it's the winter, it's way too hot. They just don't really need to do it. Michigan, where's Chugs? Jack, tell them about where Chugs is, what you're doing, why Chugs isn't here anymore.
Chugs is like full-time Raider hype man now, and so James gave me the honor of being full-time Michigan man, and now no one's going to take that job from me ever.
Yep. Jeremy was in Jack's role last year, and we put him on most of the NFL coverage, and he's doing very similar things during live shows and others for our Raiders show that was just live here about an hour ago, and they're live every Sunday. They got daily shows, youtube.com/Raiders Report. There's Chugs. We went to Vegas last year, Chugs and I did, after the Michigan-Ohio State game. Jack and I are going to Hollywood, baby. Hollywood, Jack, you don't even know what's going to happen there. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild scene out there on January 9th and the preceding weekend. So let's do this, Jack. If you can remind me the 2 people, guys, bear with us a second. I want to make sure that we are doing this and we are yep. Okay, how do you spell Cool Moti again? Yeah. Moete. Okay. Okay. Okay, Josh Sherwood, right? Jack, you know that one. I messed up Josh's name too. I need to get, I think I'm going to have my wife put these on like labels. Okay, 1129. And then spell Bojangles for me again. Mr. Right? Okay. Oh, gosh. Oh, it's that Bojanlges 870 is Mr. And that was 1129. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to fix that one because it's very tough when it's this marker. I didn't get the right marker, I don't think, but we'll figure it out. I got 2 for Rock City, and let these cool Motif, got all of them on there. They are going to go on the Michigan Football Report helmet. All right, let's just do this really quick. I want to give Cool Motif send $5 more. Cool Motif, you're going on there twice already, my man. Do you guys what would you rather have? Should we start the live Q&A, or should I do one of several? And I think we're going to have to wait till Sunday to do a few of these. I don't think we have time to do Michigan football confidential. Okay, let's do a confidential. Do you guys want confidential, or do you guys want let's just do this, Jack. Bring me full screen, and we will do confidential. This won't go on the channel. We're just going to talk about it on live. All right. Bear with me for a second here if you guys want inside Michigan football. Back in 2007, Michigan was going to be looking for a new head coach. They had lost the game of the year, the first game of the year, to Appalachian State, one of the great upsets in college football history. That's Texas A&M's problem right now, for them, because they lost to App State this year. And then the next week, just thinking back a little bit of my story, my life, I just moved to Las Vegas the year prior, right out of college, the year out of college. And I'm like, okay, Michigan's got this great out-of-conference schedule of Oregon, Notre Dame, and App State, whatever, and then Penn State. And these were like Notre Dame and Oregon was like a top 15, top 20 team, but Penn State was going to have a good year. And so I'm like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 2 weeks off work. I'm going to take 2 weeks vacation and just kind of like bracket 3 straight games coming West Coast to East Coast, land, go to the Oregon game, go to Notre Dame game, Oregon, Notre Dame, and then Penn State. Okay, that's my story behind this one, right? And of course, they got waxed by Oregon. They just had a lifeless team the next week after that. Correct that, buddy. It's $10 for the helmet stickers. $10 for the helmet stickers. So if you do 8 more, we'll call it a win. So through that year, it was clear that it was Lloyd Carr's last year as things kind of progressed. Michigan ran off 8 straight wins, and then lost a game. Chad Henne had to sit. Ryan Mallett got the start, had like a 90-yard pass against Wisconsin on the road to Mario Manningham. But nevertheless, Michigan lost their last 2 games of that regular season to Wisconsin, and then to Ohio State when they mustered not even 100 yards of offense with Jake Long, the number 1 pick in the draft, Mike Hart, and Chad Henne with a little wing for an arm. So that's the backstory here. It's not even the story yet. All the while, Les Miles, with a 2-loss team that lost 2 games in overtime that year, was going to go to the national title game, and they were the number 1 team most of the year, kind of lost a game in overtime, got back up to the top 2. It's the end of the season. They play Ohio State in the national title game, and beat them pretty heavily. So it is the Saturday of conference championship game, basically the Saturday coming up that season, and Kirk Herbstreit comes on game day in the morning and says, Les Miles, number 1, ranked number 3 in the country at the time. He's going to accept the Michigan job. They're going to bring this the D coordinator, John Tanu, or whatever his name is, from Georgia Tech, who had one of the better defenses in the country that year. And that's that. Les Miles had to come out and publicly reject that because his team was about to play in 5-6 hours and then play in the SEC title game to try and have a chance to go to the national championship. So that's the backstory there. But why was Les Miles never hired at Michigan? After the 2007 season, or after the 2010 season, right, when he was going to have the number 1 and number 2 team in the country going into 2011, both times underutilized. Now, they talked to him, I guess, in 2010 and 11, but Dave Brandon never really took him serious as a candidate. And you think back to the 90s. Right. After the 1994 season, Les Miles went on to coach. He left Michigan, and he had a couple different jobs, coaching the Cowboys, Oklahoma State, then became eventually their head coach there over about a 10-year span leading out of that. So why was Les Miles, a Michigan grad who probably would have crawled to Michigan, why was he never given true consideration for the job? Well, you think back to 1994 when he was, offensive line coach for Michigan. Let's just say this. I don't want someone to clip this and put it out there and I look like, I start a big controversy or scandal. But someone who was in and around the program back then in 1994, you fast forward to the spring of 95, Michigan's got a recruiting class coming in that spring for the next fall of Charles Woodson and Tom Brady, mind you, right? And Gary Moeller gets fired for, having a drunken outburst, breaking a glass, etc. He had a fight with his wife. And Andy Moeller was his son, who was a Michigan coach in and around the program, played for the program and stuff like that. And I happen to, be good friends with a very good friend of Andy Moeller's. And as the story would go, Andy Moeller's friends from 1994 forward kind of had a joke, which was, is that Les Miles, or do you have to call him stepdaddy now? And even the joke was, Andy, did your dad know that you're mommy and Les Miles, like that? So I'm not going to say actually what happened, but I will confirm with absolute certainty that whether or not, everything happened, that the reason Gary Moeller was fired after the 1994 season when he got in an altercation with his wife at a bar, et cetera, was due to her closer than acceptable relationship with one of his subordinates, his offensive line coach in Les Miles. And as most Michigan football fans, insiders on the program knew about this over the next decade plus, it became persona non grata that he couldn't come back and coach because it would be such a slap in the face of Gary Moeller, who, got fired after 4 or 5 seasons at Michigan's head coach, but nevertheless was in and around the program, became the Lions coach for half a season or something like that, that they couldn't do it because of that. It would be such a disrespectful thing, and Michigan would be, look like fools, that they have no morals, no values, that a guy could do that with some, other coach's wife, his boss's wife, have a relationship that was unacceptable. So that is the Michigan Football Confidential. If you guys have any, if you want to put any, use hashtag confidential. It was Carr. Yeah, Lloyd Carr was, as Richard is saying that, Lloyd Carr was on that staff. He knows exactly what happened. So that is Michigan Football Confidential. Have a source that said Lloyd Carr banged, Les Miles banged Lloyd Carr's wife. That's not true. And RIP, she passed away last year. So that is Michigan Football Confidential. Now, if you guys want any more, if you want a specific story, I got a few. But if you want to talk about Josh Gaddis and a certain recruit's mom, I don't know. If you want to talk about what happened with Gaddis last year, any other one, let me know in the comments. We'll do a Michigan Football Confidential in about 15 minutes from now. Right now, though, we are going to take the first of a couple Michigan football Q&A. So make sure you use a hashtag Michigan. Jack, say it to him. Say it to him, Jack.
Hashtag Michigan
hashtag
in the
Michigan
comments.
In the comments, or it won't show up into Jack's queue to put you on screen. Go ahead and use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat. We're going to take about 10 to 15 minutes of your questions coming up right now. You're watching the Michigan Football Report. We are presented by Manscaped, folks. Manscaped makes awesome, amazing stocking stuffers for this holiday season. Go to manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping. You got to use promo code GOBLUE, no spaces. It's down in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, we are going to dive into your questions. It's the Michigan Football Mailbag with me, your host, James Yoder, as the Wolverines get ready to take on Purdue, the number 2 Michigan football team. Get ready a chance to take on Purdue on Saturday to win a back-to-back Big Ten championship and get a back-to-back top 2 seed, a home team seed for the CFP for the second straight season. All right, if you guys like being 12-0, if you are pumped up about this Big Ten championship and this national title run, 3 games to go, folks, 3 more games, win number 13 over Purdue, get number 14 in the CFP semifinals, win number 13, 14, I said 15 in LA on January 19th. Go ahead and give us a like on today's video. On the live show, getting those likes up, 257, 260 last time I watched. But if you're watching this later in the week on demand, make sure you go down, hit that like button, keep the good vibes going for Michigan-Purdue coming up on Saturday. All right, we got a question coming in from M. Indy Bound. This is the question we saw on this channel earlier today. So this wasn't from the live show, but I did want to address it and bring it up because I thought it was pretty good. It kind of put together some content. He says, where do you think Michigan will be ranked in the 2023 preseason polls? And I I texted a few people, I asked some questions today from some people in around college football insiders, a poll voter, etc., and then took the consensus of people in and around our office, college football fans and analysts here at Chat Sports, and we put together a top 10. This is mine. I made the final decision on this. This is my way early top 2023 top 10. I think that the number 1 team in the country for next season will come down to those top 2. Michigan, USC, whichever one has a better end of season run here. If USC makes it to the national title game, Michigan doesn't, they'll be number one next year. If Michigan makes it, wins the national title, USC doesn't, or they beat USC in the national title game, whatever it is, Michigan will be there. And then it's a lot of the same old, right? Georgia's going to lose a lot, but they'll still be very talented. Alabama, I'm going to have them as number 3, Georgia 4, Ohio State 5. They'll lose a lot, but they have a ton of talent coming back. They're really just going to replace C.J. Stroud, which they've got 2 superstar quarterbacks behind him. TCU at number 6, LSU 7. Penn State is my 8 team. I think Drew Aller will give them the opportunity to make a run at the Big Ten as well next year. And then Clemson, number 9, and Kansas State, number 10. There's a lot of other schools I consider putting there at number 9 and 10. But that's where we shook out my way too early 2023 top 10. But I want to know from you guys, will Michigan be ranked number 1 in the preseason in 2023? If you're watching this on demand later in the week, go ahead and give me a comment, yes or no, down in the description of the comments of today's video. But here on the live chat on Tuesday night, I want to see some Y's or N's. Caleb Williams, SEC quarterback, or USC quarterback, Caleb Williams in the chat. He says maybe. He says, I like this one. AJ Verano says, Yoder, you're crazy putting USC at number 2. Why? They're going to have the best quarterback in college football next season. What else do you need these days? What do you base top 25 rankings on? It's what you did this year and who your coach is, what your program is, what you got coming back next year. They're USC. They're probably going to be in the college football playoff. They got the best quarterback by far at college football. And, hell, Xavier Worthy might transfer there, right? Hell, there's rumors now Travion Henderson from Ohio State's going to transfer there. I don't know if that's true or not, but they have done the transfer portal better than any school in all of college football, so I don't think that's crazy. But I want to know from you guys. Give a few shout-outs here. Wayman says yes. Joseph Molka says yes. Bill Graves with a Y. Zaire also yes. So Michigan fans, Grosse Point Michigan says N. Grosse Point, I'd love to know where you think that Michigan will be ranked. He says Ryan Buzz says only Michigan is the QB coming back. And that's why Michigan and USC are, in my opinion, most likely to be number 2. Jack, go back to it if you can really quick. Go back to that top 10 list. I'll address that as we're talking to people in the live chat. Carl says Michigan preseason number 1. Just look at these teams, right? Quarterback, yes, for Michigan number 1. USC, yes. Alabama will be a no. Georgia will be a no. Ohio State will be a no. TCU is a maybe. Okay, TCU is a maybe because Max Duggan, he wasn't an NFL prospect before the year, but he might be right now. He's got an extra year of eligibility. LSU will have their quarterback, right? Your boy's got another year of eligibility, I would assume. Penn State will have a new quarterback, but a good one, Drew Aller, one of the best 2022 recruits overall. Clemson will, but he's not that good, right? He stinks. DJ Ungale, whatever his name is, stinks. They've got a freshman, Cade Cobalclar, that's better. And then and Kansas State, right? They will have their quarterback back, but it's Kansas State. They're not as talented as Michigan. They're not having a good year. It's a 3-loss team. That is my top 10. Let me know what you guys think. I like this question. Fried Chicken Lover says, y'all effed around and woke up a sleeping giant. That is Jim Harbaugh. That is the Michigan football program. Cool Moti with a super chat says, Michigan legends start, bench, cut. Harbaugh, Brady, Woodson. Cool Moti, answers for me if you can hear me. Say, is this just their playing career or is it just is it total? But I know, but Jim Harbaugh is a coaching legend, right? Like if you're talking about a and see if you see his comment coming in. Cool Moti, are we talking about playing or in general their life as a Michigan football person, right? Because if it's just as a player, I can answer that. Well, you know what? As we're waiting for Cool Moti to answer, I'm going to do both. It's start, bench, and cut. Harbaugh, Brady, Woodson. Is it just in and around Michigan? Football person. Oh, with that's got to include their NFL career too, then, right? Oh my God. How about this? Is it their Michigan football or is it their entire football career? This is as tough a one as I can get. So if it's just as a Michigan football player, you would start Woodson as the Michigan football player. You would bench Harbaugh. You would cut Brady. Although Tom Brady does not get enough credit for how good he was in 98, 99. Was a very close loss to Michigan State and a terrible comeback loss, Illinois in 99 from potentially winning a national title, second in 2 years in 99. They could have gave Florida State a run for their money. You would cut Tom Brady, though. If it's total football life, okay, that's tough, man. That's tough. So if it's entire football plus coaching, like you think about this, Charles Woodson was a defensive MVP, a Heisman Trophy winner, one of the top 5 players in all of college football, and a Super Bowl. So this crazy to say. Okay. I have to say it. So just think about this for a second. Tom Brady, 2-year starter at Michigan, 7-time Super Bowl champion. Charles Woodson, national champion, Heisman Trophy winner, 17-year NFL career, defensive MVP, Super Bowl champion. Jim Harbaugh, 15-year NFL career, went to Super Bowl as a coach, going to be back-to-back Big Ten titles, back-to-back college football playoffs. It's start Brady, bench Woodson, and cut Harbaugh. I think that's a total football life, not just Michigan, but those are Michigan guys. Unfortunately, that is the one. Guys, we got to figure out a better solution, Jack. When I do push-ups and sit up and squats, my cords, my microphone cords get all messed up. We tape these things down for a reason, but nevertheless. So that's a hell of a question. Thank you for the Super Chat, $5, Cool Mo T. And thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring today's show, folks. The Lawnmower 4.0, where is this bad boy? Look at the Lawnmower 4.0. I am not going to lie and say that I'm not going to lie to you and say that you should use Manscaped even if I don't. I do use it. I am not going to lie. My entire bathroom is Manscaped products. I've got the Manscaped shampoo. I've got the Manscaped body wash, but this is the one, right? You can take in the you feel that? You feel that, Jack? Is that making some noise? It's got the light. It vibrates. You can charge it. You kind of just trim up down there. You can trim up your chest, whatever you guys want. I love the Lawnmower 4.0. And if you do in the shower, okay, just maybe just trim up and let it go down the drain if you can. But if you want to do it outside the shower, they give you this newspaper, right? And just kind of open it up. You put it beneath you, and with all the hair going there, and you just kind of like shake it off. Just doing these, it goes right into the trash can, the toilet, wherever you want to dispose of the hair. Manscaped has got some awesome deals. They've got amazing products. They just don't have the Lawnmower 4.0. They have tons of men's grooming products, including the Manscaped lip balm that I use all the time. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code GoBlue. Jack just put it in the chat there. You guys see there. Go to manscaped.com. Promo code GoBlue. 20% off your order and free shipping. Make sure you guys use promo code GoBlue. Use the promo code to buy somebody a nice stocking stuffer. It's an amazing stocking stuffer this holiday season. We love Manscaping, the best male grooming products on the market. Make sure, though, you use that promo code GoBlue. No spaces. Hey, check out those boxer shorts. I wear them all the time. They're super silk-like. They're awesome. They're super comfortable. Manscaped.com. Promo code GoBlue. Chunk XD says, is this Michigan team better than any Ohio State team in the last 20 years? Funny you should say that. Funny you should say that, because we're going to find out coming up in the college football playoff. I don't think Michigan just gets a pass because we're Michigan fans. We want this team to go, that they just kind of jump in there. But dominant, they're up there with the margin of victory and just the totality of outside of Illinois. I mean, a field goal with 9 seconds left. Michigan hasn't been challenged this entire season, and that includes Ohio State was a one-score game with 7 minutes left. So that's challenge. But look at the last 7 games, Michigan has given up 20 points. And 14 of those were to Illinois when Michigan was trying to recover emotionally from Blake Corum just going down, which would appear to be a season-ending knee injury, which it didn't turn out to be. But nevertheless, that is what we were dealing with. But 2019 Ohio State was probably the most dominant, but they lost in the CFP semifinal to Clemson. 2020 wasn't as dominant, but they made it to the national title game. 2014 really kind of lost to Virginia Tech. 2014 Ohio State. But then they won the national title in absolutely dominant fashion, won against Michigan by 14, 59-0 over Wisconsin, beat Alabama by 2 scores in the CFP semifinal against in the Sugar Bowl, and then really just stuck it to Oregon in a game that was here in Dallas that I went to in the national title game. So I'm going to go with that team. I'm going to say all things considered, right now, Michigan's the 3rd best team in the last 20 years. It would go 2014 Ohio State that won the national title, and their domination at the end of the year, I think, kind of covers up some of the non-dominance earlier in the year. And then it's 2019 Ohio State that lost in the CFP semifinal. Now, if Michigan wins the national title, they would be the only undefeated Big Ten national champion. Well, they're the only Big Ten national champion outside of Ohio State in the last 20 years. But would be the first, only undefeated national champion in the last 20 seasons. So they would go for me to number 1. If they make the national title game but were to lose, won't happen, they would be number 2, I think, behind that 2014 Ohio State team that did win the national title. Noah Wilson, by the way, Jack, I saw a question coming in from Becky and Chad, longtime viewer of the show. If you grab that one, we'll take that one here in a second if possible, with the new teams. Noah Wilson says, how long will Harbaugh coach? Very good question. Now, there is some sizable chatter, again, that I don't really even want to address, honestly, but I put it in the Slack there, Jack, didn't say it. about Harbaugh giving it another, just listening to NFL offers. Indianapolis Colts, right? There's going to be a few other teams probably. I don't know. Who else is going to fire the coach this year, Jack? The Colts obviously already have, but Broncos, right? Probably not the right fit for Jim Harbaugh. That's a hell of a division with the Raiders typically being good, with the Chiefs, with the Chargers having a hell of a good young 25-year-old quarterback. But don't be surprised if there's rumors again. I didn't think they were true last year at this time. I said, no way these are true. And they were true. They were true. Jim Harbaugh just didn't get the offer. But now it's back-to-back years that they've this isn't a fluke anymore. So he might look at the NFL. So how long will he coach? I'm going to guess here. I'm going to guess that he coaches for another 6 seasons until I do think that Harbaugh wants to leave behind a legacy that maybe Lloyd Carr wasn't able to, that Bo Schembechler did, which is groom your successor, figure out who that person is. Right now, I think the candidates right on the staff at least, Sharon Moore, Mike Hart, or maybe Jay Harbaugh, who's all of a sudden getting chatter out there that he could be a candidate for the Western Michigan job that came available with Tim Lester getting fired a couple days. So I'm going 6 more years. Again, I see the question from somebody says, not this shit again. I'm not doing it. I got a question here, but it's out there. Should we not talk about it? I'm not the guy who interviewed for the Vikings last year. I'm not the guy who talked to Mark Davis on the phone last year. That was Jim Harbaugh. I hope it doesn't happen again. But I'm not naive enough to think that it wouldn't happen again. And I hope that Jim Harbaugh says, no, I've got something rolling here at Michigan. I'm going to step away here. But nevertheless, don't be surprised. But I hope that he doesn't, because I think it would be a very disingenuous move. And I think, how would you be able to look back at the players in the eye, the recruits in the eye, and say, hey, I did it last year. I didn't get the job. I came back. I told you I was here for good. But I did it again a year later. That would leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Go ahead and give me some Bosas down in the comments. I don't know if this is going to be the end. I mean, should we keep doing Bosa? I don't know. If you give me a lot of Bosas, if we get 50 Bosas in the live chat and in the comments on demand later in the week, we'll keep doing Bosa. But I know we might retire that till after the season. It's not going to stop, because this is one of the great sports political campaign slogans of all time: beat Ohio State again. But got some Bosas. They're coming in. I think the people have spoken. We've already got like 6 and 10 seconds here. Cole Rangers says, who's my Heisman? Caleb Williams if they win against Utah. If they lose, if they lost bad for some reason, I don't know who the Heisman will go to, although Wilson might just keep it there. Cody says Bosa, Eric Bosa, IWTP Gaming, Anthony, Eric, Sean, Paul Anthony. A lot of Bosa. So I think we're keeping Bosa, Jack. We're not retiring it until after the season yet. The people want Bosa. Bosa is over, as are they. Well, yes, Ohio State, they might be over. Really interesting what's going on there with that program. 1 loss, 5 losses in 4 seasons, and they're at a crossroads there as a program. All right, we got the question coming in from Becky and Chad, longtime brew of the show. Thanks so much for the support and always being here for our shows. With the new teams coming into the Big Ten, does this add a game to the schedule? Not as of now, right? The Big Ten redid the 2023 schedule, and the way that shook out was in anticipation of 2024 is that they're not going to have a 10-game schedule. They're still going to keep 9. But that's for 2024. 2025, they'll probably get, I expect maybe next summer, summer 2023 before the season, for them to release a USC and UCLA focused schedule. We'll know, where it's going. They'll decide on how they're going to do 2 divisions. Conference, division list, which I wouldn't like. Imagine if they didn't have any divisions now. Michigan would be playing Ohio State again. Would that be fun? That wouldn't be fun for me. But I really like an idea as Wolverine Alaska, my guy, coming in with a $10 super chat we'll get to in a second. Last year, going forward, I would like to see this idea that I've thought about for a while, which is a pod system. So if you've got 16 teams, imagine if you have 4 pods of 4 led by Michigan, Ohio State, USC, and Penn State. And you get each one of those has 3 other teams with them, and it's like this. Year 1, it's Pod A and Pod B. They all play each other. Crown 1 champion. It's champion A, champion B. Pod C and D. Then the next year, A and C are in a group together. B and D. Third year, A and D are grouped together. They play each other. And you still have crossover games. You still have 2 or 3 crossover games. And it's like Michigan's not always stuck with Ohio State. Ohio State's not always stuck with Michigan and Penn State. USC just doesn't get an easy walk because they're in the Big Ten West or something like that. Rotate it around. Make it so you're not always playing the same 6 or 7 teams every single year. Funny enough, Jack, Purdue, just as Jim Harbaugh's 8th year, they've only been on the schedule 1 time in 8 years. How is that normal? How is that normal? So this doesn't even count as a scheduled game. 2017, and this is the second one coming up in a championship game. But I would love to see a pod system where you basically have 4 teams. You basically, every 3 years, you're in a pod with a different group of 4 teams, and you've got your standards that you play every single year. I like to see it be Michigan, Michigan State, maybe like in Indiana. You almost got to kind of tier it out historically. Michigan, Michigan State, Indiana, and I don't know, Minnesota or something like that. That might be a good one. And then, USC, Nebraska, UCLA, and whoever, right? We'll see what the Big Ten decides to do. But I would say, from what we're hearing, that next spring or summer, July, August next year is when the Big Ten will announce what they'll do for 2024, both from divisions and from a scheduling perspective. But I do not expect the Big Ten to go to a 10-game schedule. All right, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. I'm going to follow back the next 10 people. Don't DM me because I just don't even track DMs anymore because it's very difficult to keep up with. If you watch this on demand, I'm going to go follow 5 of you as well on demand. We put this up on the channel here in a couple of days. But while we're live, I'm going to follow back a couple of the followers that just came through. My guy Rick Harford, appreciate that. Mike Englert. I saw that one come through. Jeremy Clore just followed me. And where's the other follower there? A lot of notifications. Got to scroll through them. Twitter does not make it easy, Elon Musk. To Ethan. And there's my 5 right there. Okay, so Rick Harford, Harfrt. It's at Rick_Harford. Just followed him. I'm going to follow Mike Englert. It's Englert, Englert, Mike, at Englert Mike. Jeremy Clore, it's at JJCLORE. Going to follow him back. Ethan, which is at eHornick, EHORNIK 7. So if you guys want to pause and play, follow some of these Michigan football fans back. And then Gary Yang 85. Gary, just like I said, at Gary Yang, YANG 85. And I might have missed 1 or 2 in there. So after we're done with the live show, I'll go back. If you're watching on demand in a few days, we will follow back 5 or so of you guys as well. Sunday, we will be live 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time for the College Football Playoff Bowl Selection Reveal. So join us on Sunday, 11:45 Eastern Time, 10:45 Central, 9:45 Mountain, and 8:45 Pacific. What does that make Hawaii time, Jack? That's like 7:45 Hawaii, something like that. Or Alaska, that's right. We saw the $10. It's 7:45 Alaska, 6:45 in Hawaii. College Football Playoff. We will know which team Michigan will play, which of the 2 College Football Playoff semifinals, either out in Arizona at the Fiesta Bowl or in Georgia, Atlanta at the Peach Bowl. YouTube.com/Michigan TV. Join us Sunday morning. We'll go right as Michigan finds out where they'll be playing, who they'll be playing against. We will take your questions live and preview Michigan's semifinal College Football Playoff matchup. Live show. Let's get some me's. If you want to shout out, I'm going to give shout outs for the next 60 seconds or so. Put a little Manscaped lip balm on. Let's see if we get some me's. And then we've got more guys. We've still got a lot of content. Jack's probably like, James, we've been live for too long. I want to go home and watch a movie. Jack, you good? You got more in you, Jack? Jack's here, he says. All right, so we will I'm gonna give some shout outs here on the channel. So type me if you want a shout out. I've got all these things going on my screen. I'm just like, it's so late in the day, I'm going to just start deleting all of my windows that I've got open that are kind of distracting me as I try and find the live chat. Now I've got it. Here we go with the live chats. Terry Power says, we were supposed to play UCLA. I believe that was this year that Michigan canceled, weren't we? Michigan's canceled home and homes against UCLA and Arkansas. They've got Texas and Oklahoma coming up. I think it's 24, 25, 26, 27. It's like Texas, at Oklahoma, home Texas, home Oklahoma. It's like offsetting. I think Texas is the even years, 24, 26. Oklahoma is the odd. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan canceled, although I would be kind of disappointed given that Austin's 2.5 hours away, Norman's 2.5 hours away as well from where I'm at. In Dallas, my son is 6. He thinks he's a Texas fan, although he doesn't know anything about him, just because we live in Texas, although he's also a Michigan fan. Iceman Comp, Anthony Spiat, Iceman Comp again. Aiden Elston, these are the folks saying me. Eric Politz, Polite, apologize, Eric. Gigantor. Patrick Brewer says me, go blue from Frostburg, Maryland. Richard Kennard, Cody Cole. Oh, I skipped forward. Josh Sherwood. Josh, look at this, Josh. I got you right here twice. Or I got your other sticker coming up there. I'm going to put them on the helmet as soon as I know that they are dry. Buster Douglas, my bad. I'm not sure what that means. Go Blue from Matthew C. Wayman Lawrence says me. Brian Vaughn. Bosa from Iceman Comp. Let's see if we get some more me's. Larry Eberhardt says me, go blue. And he says, how about this one? Got it all day 313. Everybody in the 313, put your motherfucking hands up. Okay, we can all agree Charles Woodson is one of the greatest NCAA football players ever. I think he's the best defensive football player of all time, given his impact on offense, special teams. I mean, I think he's a top 5 player, at least. And some people will say Tim Tebow and others, but Charles Woodson's my favorite all-time player, but definitely the best defensive player. John Stoops, Wayman Lawrence again, and Roger Taylor, me from Bradenton, Florida. Patrick says Woodson, the greatest all-around player of all time. Very few people can argue with that. All right, Super Chat, $10 coming in from Wolverine, Alaska. I'm going to put him on Wolverine. We got you here, Wolverine, so don't think this is a one-time thing. You were on the helmet 2 weeks ago, last live show right there, and your daughter, Leanne, 11:15. I'm going to hold it up the camera about 8 feet away from me. There we go. See that as the lights all over the studio here are tough. Josh Sherwood there. I got you, Josh. Let me put another one on there for Wolverine, Alaska, and then maybe I should pull some of these bad boys off and put them on the helmet. Jack, what do you think? Oh, boy. Let's see if any of my Ohio State guys have texted me back that they're available really quick. Nope. One of them said back. He says, I'm not going to be able to for a while. So, all right, we're going to have to hear this. We'll make you guys think. I will have one Ohio State former football player, and I'll have one Ohio State former coach ready for the show on Sunday. But Wolverine, Alaska, you are getting another one on the helmet. I'm going to put a couple more stickers on there. Rock City, you're going up there, baby. Rock City, you're on the helmet. Rock City, man. Rock City. Shout out to give John Blaze. We're going to toss that gold medal. He was the winner last week. Who was our MVP this week, Jack? Do we have 20? But I think we've got multiple, don't we? I don't know how you check that. I don't do the live shows as much. Well, somebody did 20 twice, right? No? Okay. Check into that when I'm putting these stickers on there. So another one from Cool Moti. So the helmet stickers are filling up, guys. We're gonna take the spots. We've got the brim. After this, I'm gonna put the helmet on. Cool Moti. Yeah. 20, yeah. What about we had total? Yeah, I think that's the one. All right, Cool Moti, you are MVP. So, Jack, why don't we get an MVP trophy graphic for him while we're waiting? Whoever gets the MVP, we're going to shout you out all the next week to in the next 5 days to our live show on Sunday. And Cool Moti, I've got you on there. You're on here like 3 or 4 times now. You are our current MVP. Last week's show, John Blaze got the front spot on the helmet. So Cool Moti, I'm going to put one, Josh Sherwood there, but I'm going to put one of these for you right next to it. I'll take one of these stickers off later and put it right next to John if you end up being the MVP of today's show, our Super Chat winner. Jack, do we have any wheel spins? Why don't we do a wheel spin because we've got so many Super Chats just for fun. We got a wheel spin coming. All right, go ahead and give me a wheel spin, Jack. All right. I got Mr. Bojangles. I think I have 2 for Bojangles I got to put on there. So I got 1 there, Bojangles. But, I'm going to rewrite that. What do we got? Half a beer. Holy shit. All right, Jack, give me a non-biased assessment. Stay on there. What is what is that? Just what do we think we got in there? Yep. So I was saying I just got just about half. Tell me how to spell Bojangles one more time if you can because I messed up that first time. Yep. 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 Okay, 870, and that was 1129. All right, Mr. Bojangles, I got one more of those for you. He's got to be up there, right? Bojangles, he's got to be up there, right? But didn't he have 2? I don't know. 'Cause I think he's already on here. Is Bojangles already on here? Oh, Jack, I already got Bojangles up there, but is that one of 2? Okay, $10 got him on the thing. So, Super Chat menu, guys. And look, we're not, we still got probably another at least 30, 40 minutes left in the show. Jack, you don't have a hot date tonight, do you? We good? Okay. Go to the back. Go, Jack, put me on here. Type me if you want a shout out. While Jack's going to go to the bathroom, I am going to, as we've been live here for nearly 2 hours, I got to give Jack some credit there. He got to go to the bathroom. So that's what it is. We are, it's not like a big TV studio. We've got, bunch of people here at Chat Sports, but typically only one producer on any single show. So, I've got this thing. I want to put this thing on. I would really like to hit that. So while waiting for Jack, I am going to chug this beer. If I can aim towards the camera, is literally a half beer to the T. So there you go. Woo. All right, so chugging a beer. Why would you ever abandon UM's year-long war cry? Look, I love the Bosa, the chat again, and where'd it come from? And again, 3 or 4 weeks ago during election season, I said, "Hey, who are you voting for tonight?" I didn't give my opinion, but we started the Bosa after the Alabama loss in the January 1st, 2020. It was coming into an election year. The most impactful political statement of a generation at least was Donald Trump's "Make America Great Again." It was all red with white letters, MAGA. I'm like, well, I just can't do anything. I didn't think at the time, honestly. I did not think that Michigan was taking Ohio State seriously enough. I really didn't. And I clearly think they are now. And I'm not going to say it to a credit, but I don't think there's any question that Jack, grab me another of the blues if you can. I don't think there's any question that the people inside the program, I know for a fact that they know about this slogan. They know about it. They see it on social media. I see every time Michigan tweets, I see 25 people typing or putting "Beat Ohio State again," Bosa, etc. Beat Ohio State again, BOSA. I like this from Patrick Brewer. He says, paint the helmets, the wings in the helmet, add the helmet stickers. Not a bad idea. We bought this bad boy off Amazon, this hard hat, add the Michigan stickers. I'm going to switch this cart over here because I think it would be easier for me to grab things and the camera angle. There you go. So Jack is back. Jack, I haven't given my shout outs yet. I was just answering a question on the Bosa. So type me if you want to shout out. I'll give a couple another 30 seconds of shout outs from the me's. I missed a bunch of me's up here, so let me just go up and get these. Anthony, Gigantor, maybe I got all those. Josh, Richard, Brian Vaughn, Larry Ebert, we got a few of those. Any more me's? 5 more seconds, me's that come in. Patrick Brewer says Donnie Jones, linebacker, Ernest Shazer, strong safety. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Appreciate it, Jeremy Clore. Whoa, thanks for the shout out. Keep up the great content and God bless. Hashtag Michigan Bosa Go Blue. Chris Perry was the Heisman season. I think I'm missing something in the chat. I'm a Michigan football savant. I think last 32 seasons, I would say 1990 to present, and I can go back prior to that, but it's off book memory, not actual memory. But I can tell you basically every single game Michigan's played for the last 30 plus seasons. So if you guys are talking about 2020 Orange Bowl, down 14-0 to Alabama, then down 28-14 to Alabama. David Terrell, 3 touchdowns. Tom Brady breaks a Michigan record for completions and yards, which is crazy because this is 3 years ago. It was only 375 yards, 4 touchdowns for Brady. Michigan goes into overtime. Michigan scores on their, I think it's the first play, touchdown to the tight end, whose name actually is escaping me at the moment. And then Alabama scores a touchdown a handful of plays later. And then they miss the extra point. Michigan wins that Orange Bowl game after the 1990 season at a missed extra point in overtime, 35-34. Look, you guys want to keep doing this? If you want to have a little fun, toss a game in there or a question and see if I can recite it. Let's just say 1990. Let's just say 93 to present. Last 30 seasons. If you guys toss something in there, I will answer that to you. Ronald Kagel says, "What's the latest on Jaden Davis?" He has made it clear to those around him that his commitment to Michigan is imminent in days or week-ish. Right? If we're a week from Friday, if we're 10 days from now and he hasn't committed to Michigan, I will be very, very surprised. Breston on the trick plays, as Steve Breston was 2020 Orange Bowl from Surfer Boy. If we're talking about Michigan, Georgia, no, I'm not going to talk about that one. I blocked that game out right off the top. A dude working in a grocery store here in Dallas came up to me and told me his wife are close friends with Chris Evans, who went to Super Bowl Cincinnati last year. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Peppers, free safety. Frazier, strong safety. Some people in the live chat. All right, Jack, do we have any more supers or anything to get to, or do we have to we did the spin, right? We did the spin. Okay, cool. All right, Jack gave me another Bud Light, so we've got the Big Ten Championship preview. And then we're going to do another 10 minutes of your questions. So stick with us here as we are coming up at 8:30 Eastern time with 160 people watching. We had a little fall off here in the last 30 minutes or so, but let's get back into the Michigan football content. It's your 2022 Big Ten Championship preview. I am your host, James Yoder. You're watching the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Really excited about this game. Really excited for Michigan to get back to championship level where they, frankly, before last season, it had been 17 years going back to the 2004 season where Michigan had split Big Ten title. 2003, the outright Big Ten champions. They went back-to-back that year, but it was before the Big Ten championship game that has been around for about 11, 12 seasons right now. So Michigan's second Big Ten championship game. Purdue will be in the Big Ten championship game for the first time. And Michigan's trying to go 13-0, folks. 13-0 for the first time in program history. Now, it's a little bit of a slanted stat, and Ohio State fans sometimes, they use these kooky stats like, well, Michigan's only had this many 12-win seasons and this many 11-win seasons. Ohio State's had so many more. Well, Ohio State's best 10, 15-year run is in the era of 12-game regular seasons, and some of Michigan's worst seasons are in that era, 2008 to 2014, and then, of course, 2020. So I think it's a very slanted stat, but nevertheless, Michigan has never had a 13-win season, and, of course, have never been 13-0, of course, as they have never had a 13-win season in general. Before we dive into everything in and around that game, as we focus on what you need to know about injuries and Purdue, what they will bring to the table, give me a Go Blue in the comments. We are recording this on late Tuesday night on our College Football Playoff Top 25 watch reveal show, but I will give some shout-outs. I'll reply to everybody typing Go Blue in the comments when we put this up on the channel. I think this is going to go up on Thursday, so give me a Go Blue down in the comments. Don't expect to see Blake Corum, Mike Morris, or Luke Schoonmaker coming up on Saturday, 8 o'clock on Fox against Purdue. An 8-4 Purdue team that, they need a lot of help, right? They need Illinois to lose, their last, 4 games, 3 games of the season, 3 of the last 4. They need Iowa to lose, just a real head-scratcher, a bad Iowa team, but still had controlled their own destiny on Saturday afternoon. They need them to lose to Nebraska. But Michigan really believes, and I think it's not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. Michigan really believes that they don't need Blake Corum. We saw it against Ohio State. Don't need Mike Morris, played 12 snaps against Ohio State, or Luke Schoonmaker. The players that filled them for Ohio State at the shoe against the number 2 team in the country, they can get it done against Purdue. The goal, of course, is to have all these guys ready for December 31st, the college football playoff, and that's what Michigan expects to do. So don't expect to see those guys who didn't play much of a role at all last week to be in the lineup this coming Saturday. Let's start the show talking about Will Johnson from a kind of keys to the game, focusing on what to watch for this game against Purdue. Will Johnson, if you haven't realized it, and I'm not sure if I didn't or did realize it, you see him on the field so many times, you see him nonstop, but he has basically supplanted Jamon Green after Green got hurt against Michigan State in the tunnel after the game, started every game leading up to that, didn't make the road trip to Rutgers. Will Johnson got the start in that game, and outside of them starting Jamon Green against Illinois for Senior Day, Will Johnson became the starter later on in that game. He played more snaps than Jamon Green. So I think it is pretty fair to say that Will Johnson has now supplanted Jamon Green. Good problem to have that you've got 4 corners, including Mike Sainristil as a nickel, there for this program. He is your cute quarterback, too, outside of DJ Turner. Let's take a look at the last 4 games for Michigan's 5-star cornerback. 73 snaps against Ohio State. 73 snaps, one of the top amongst any player, any position. 8 tackles, 7 solo tackles, 1 assisted tackle. The prior week against Illinois, he didn't start. Senior Day, Jamon Green got the start, 48 snaps and 4 tackles. And then Nebraska did get the start. Rutgers, on the road, did get the start. Didn't have any tackles in that one, which I guess is surprising, but maybe not considering that Rutgers doesn't really throw the ball that often. So Will Johnson, starter for this Michigan football team as a true freshman. And with him, Mason Graham and Colson Loveland, you're starting to develop a hell of a core of impact players as true freshmen this season. Michigan's now favored by 17 points over the Boilermakers. 52 points is the over-under. December 3rd, coming up on Saturday, 8 o'clock on Fox. Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson will be on the call. I think they become my favorite duo by far. I think Michigan's going to cover the 17-point spread. I believe I'll make my quick score prediction right now, Jack. What do you think? What do you got, Jack? What is your score prediction? No? You got to guess. You watch all the games with me. Okay, I'm going to make mine. You got 10 seconds to make your score prediction. My score prediction, and those of you watching live, toss your score predictions in there. We'll ask you later in the show as well. I'm going to go Michigan 31, Purdue 13. So I'm going to go 18 points. They're going to win by 1, and that would actually be 1 less than the over-under. So I would go Michigan with the spread and the under. Jack, on the spot.
35-14.
35-14. So Jack thinks a little bit more from Michigan than I did. What did I say? 38? 38-13? Okay, so is my math off? 25. Yeah, I was thinking, what did I say? Rewind the tape. I said 31-13. Yeah, 31-13. So I guess it's much below the over/under. So Jack, I think Michigan will score a couple more points, but same range, 3 or so score game. Michigan gets the job done against a Purdue team that, look, I didn't really consider. Michigan doesn't play Purdue. They play them next year, but they haven't played them in 5 years at this point. I don't pay a ton of attention to Purdue, but I've spent the last 2 days really diving into their film, watching a few of the games on Big Ten Network in 60, and I do think that Michigan's got a hell of a lot more talent than this Purdue team. As you guys know, we partner with BetUS for college football, NFL, NBA, World Cup betting. Right now, you're betting the World Cup. You want to have a little USA going on and take part in the United States getting that victory over Iran. They're playing on Saturday, right? Playing on Saturday. What time is that game at? 1 o'clock or something like that? Early in the morning? Got it. Promo code is GoBlue. You get 125% deposit bonus. So you got to use the link at the bottom of the screen, chatsports.com/GoBlue, to be kind of redirected to this promo. Because, and Jack, if you could toss it in the live chat, we're bringing back the jersey deal for the Big Ten championship game into the college football playoff. We're going to keep running this bad boy all the way until Sunday, until the Michigan football matchup against the college football playoff is announced. Here's what you got to do. Screenshot this, write it down, whatever you got to do, pause it, whatever you do, follow these instructions to a T, and we'll get you the free jersey for being a new customer of our sports betting partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Do it from your computer. It'll drop you onto the sign-up page. Use promo code GoBlue when you deposit $100 or more. 125% deposit bonus. Make your first bet, and email us at jersey@chatsports.com. Boom! We'll get you the Jordan Brand #1 Michigan football jersey, size of your choice. We'll just need your account number when you email us, and then we'll confirm it against the report. That's why it's so vital that you use the link, chatsports.com/GoBlue, and use that promo code GoBlue. You show up in this report, boom, we confirm, and then we will get the jersey out to you. We'll get your size and address and ship that bad boy off to you. If you do it this week, folks, we'll get this promotion going on. You will have that one well before Christmas Day, well before in time for the college football playoff on December 31st. All right, your Big Ten championship. It is Michigan. It is in Purdue on Saturday night. Michigan hasn't played Purdue since 2007, the famed Brandon Peters game, if you guys recall that one, when I think it was the one that, what's his name, Willen Spate got hurt, Peters came in. Man, I'm forgetting that game, honestly, but I should know better a little bit there. But first outright Big Ten West Division title after a 30-16 win over Indiana, the first Big Ten championship game in program history. Only one game versus Michigan in Jim Harbaugh's 8 years as a head coach. It was the 2017 season, 28-10. Michigan was the final score. Their quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, has been a little pass happy, folks. He has been throwing that ball around the stadium all season long. 452 passing attempts through 12 games. They're averaging 36.66 passing attempts per game, about 12 or so more than Michigan has averaged so far this season. 22 picks and 11 interceptions. I don't want a shout out from Thomas Weber. Thomas, you're getting a shout out. The team here on the YouTube live chat. But Aiden O'Connell, the quarterback the Michigan will face, he has had an emotional last week, right? He played this past weekend's game against Indiana with the death of his brother looming over his head. So he made a statement just in the last couple days. He says, "My family and I would like to express our gratitude for the love and support we received over the past few days. We are deeply saddened to share of the passing of my oldest brother, Sean." He goes on to say, "Sean was not only one of the Purdue football's biggest fans, but he was a better son, brother, and friend. He lit up any room, walked in, and all that knew him testified to his contagious joy." So, terrible thing to hear about. I saw it last week, but I don't know if it dinged in my mind that it was the quarterback's brother. Sometimes you're just like, oh, okay, you see it across the ticker, and then Michigan's playing this team, and it starts to hit home for him. So he played against Indiana and got the win and a chance at the Big Ten championship, a Big Ten West title, knowing that his brother passed away. Cause of death is unknown. It was somebody young. I'm not sure if we want to know or disclose that, but outside of the game on Saturday, pulling for him, pulling for his family, that they are able to get over the loss of a brother, and for his parents for a son way before his time. So condolences to Purdue's quarterback Aiden O'Connell and his family. The player that he'll be throwing to, maybe one of the best receivers, maybe not talent-wise all the time, but certainly production-wise, is Charlie Jones. You will see him on the field, number 15. Look at the stats he's got so far this year, folks. When I pulled it up, and sometimes you're caught off guard because you're like, wait a second, Purdue, they throw the ball? Okay, cool. 97 catches. I want to just talk a little bit about what he's done so far this year. You can leave it on this with his stats here, Jack. But in games, in the opener this year, against Penn State, 12 catches, 153 and a touchdown. He had 3 touchdowns against Indiana State in their second game. He had 11 catches, 188 and 2 touchdowns against Syracuse. Some other games. Now, he had a few game stretch against FAU, Minnesota, and Maryland where he didn't go over 100 yards. But then 12 catches, 132, 2 touchdowns against Nebraska, 10, 105 against Wisconsin, and then 11 for 104 against Iowa. Had 66 yards, 46 yards, and then finished it up against Indiana with 4 catches, 143, and a touchdown. All in, he's got 1,200 yards, nearly 100 catches, and 12 touchdowns on the year. What a season for Charlie Jones. He'll be working with Aiden O'Connell to try and take advantage of a Michigan football secondary. Folks, we are growing like weeds. Appreciate everyone who's watching, everyone who's supported the show over the last 3, coming up on 4 years. We launched this channel on YouTube in early 2019. So kind of as the calendar turns, the end of this year, we'll be going, finishing up our 4th season on YouTube. Appreciate everyone who has, been along for the ride. I know a ton of names. I've made a ton of internet friends with a bunch of you guys, and we certainly appreciate it. We started actually, Jack, I don't know if you know this, we started in the 2016-17 season on Facebook Live. Did that for a couple of years, but it wasn't nearly the type of content we do now. It was more live, and it was maybe like once or twice a week. But now on YouTube, we are approaching 24,000 subscribers. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. And if you have and you've been a subscriber and you think your friends would like the show, grab that link, youtube.com/MichiganTV. Send it to a friend. Tell them to subscribe. Subscribers really help on YouTube because it's kind of like a checkbox of, the quality of the content that we put out, and YouTube knows who Michigan football fans are, right? They know everything about you. They know everything about you. They're owned by Google, and they say, well, this guy over here, Jack, he loves Michigan football. He watches this channel. Maybe these other people who fall in the same category love about Michigan football. They'll want to watch it too. So the more subscribers, the better for the channel. Michigan's defense, 20 points given up in the second half of the last 7 games. They are now number 2. They gave up a lot of yards to Ohio State passing, like 350 yards or so in the air for Coldridge Stroud. But now they're number 2 nationally in total yards, number 11 in passing yards. All right, they've dropped like 2 spots, 1 spot. Last week they were number 1 in yards, maybe number 2 in points, and now they dropped down to 3. They dropped from like number 9 to 11. Number 3 rushing defense, number 3 total points defense. I would expect that after this game, I'm not sure if the passing will improve there, but I would guess that the rushing and the points, Michigan probably pops up to number 2, number 1, have an opportunity to become the number 1 defense in all of college football heading into the CFP, because the offense they're going against with Purdue is not a juggernaut at all. You take a look at the stats there, you take a look at the rankings on screen. 406 yards. That's number 52 nationally. The only area they really excel, folks, is in the passing game, right? We saw with Aiden O'Connell and his passing stats, and they're number 21 in the country, 280 yards a game. It's a much better passing attack than Michigan has right now. Without taking a shot at J.J. McCarthy, Michigan struggled at passing down the stretch of the season. Points, still not that great, 28.9 points per game, but they've got some talent. We talked about Aiden O'Connell. We talked about Charlie Jones. We'll talk more weapons here in a second, but I want to know from you guys, we said at the top of the segment, predict the score, Michigan, Purdue. I can't remember what I said, but I'm going to say, I think I said 31-13. I think, Jack, you said 35-14. 35-14. So Jack and I are pretty much in concert. I think Michigan will do everything they can with Blake Corum is not going to play, Luke Schoonmaker, Mike Morris not expected to play. Maybe even some others. We'll see how things shake out on the rest of the week heading into this game. But I don't expect Michigan to try and have style points. Last year they went for style points. They had 2 backup running backs that they could go to. Blake Corum, backup running back. Diamond Edwards, who threw a touchdown pass last year. They had 4 backup tight ends behind Eric All that could have played. They had a 5-star backup quarterback. The depth on certain positions is just not there to risk it this year. I mean, hell, Mike Morris just won Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year. Folks, he was the backup last year behind a first-round draft pick, a second-round draft pick that are in the NFL now. Aiden Hutchinson might win NFL Rookie of the Year. So I'm going 35-13. I think Michigan's just going to get a 2-score lead, put in some backups. I think they'll treat this like a game early on in the season, and they're not going to go for style points that they don't need, frankly. At this point, 35-13. I got a few shots here. Cornelius Canamore says 42-10, 38-13 from Henry. Let's see, 31-21 Matt, the closer game than I think. Pat Shelton says 44-20 Michigan. Iceman Comp says pay Yoder. I agree with that. Pay me. Pay Minter says Tim, and then Iceman says pay Yoder. Look, I'll take it either way. Terry Powers says 38-10. Josh Sherwood, my guy. Josh, we've got you up on the helmet twice. He says 56-10 Michigan. Thanks so much for those score predictions. And if you're watching on demand, put them down in the comments. Purdue's tight end is one of the best in the country, maybe potentially the best in the Big Ten. Certainly one of the top tight ends in the Big Ten. He's had a hell of a season so far. The senior, and the expectation from what I at least understand is that he will be back next year unless he decides to go to the NFL, but he's got eligibility. 54 catches, 550, and 8 touchdowns. Good touchdown production. Most notably, looking at his stats, he gets typically an average game for him is like 5 catches, 50 yards, 40 yards, 60 yards, 70 yards. He's only had 100-yard game so far this year against Maryland, 7 catches, 109, and a touchdown. He did have 9 catches, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns against Syracuse. Also had 7 for 70 and 2 touchdowns against Illinois. Last week against Indiana, 4 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown along of 15 for that one. But on their defensive side of the ball, one player that we want to point out there is their defensive end, Jack Sullivan. He's got a great mustache. He really does. 5.5 sacks so far on the season. Was honored earlier this week, just in various all Big Ten, second team, third team, etc. His biggest impact so far this year has been his impact has been spread out. Every 33 tackles so far this year, 5.5 sacks. No one game has he had like a wild impact and went down. So his production is pretty much the same. He gets about 4 to 5 tackles per game, and he gets a sack every other game. And that's been pretty consistent. There's not like a 4-sack or 3-sack game in there that you have to worry about. So keep an eye out for him. Number 99 coming off the edge for Purdue. It is Jack Sullivan. All right, so thinking forward to this Saturday and Friday's games. USC's playing on Friday. I'm really excited to watch that game. If Michigan wins against Purdue, as long as Georgia doesn't lose to LSU, they're playing out in Arizona. And why do I say that with such confidence? Well, they try and geographically place the number 1 seed gets geographical preference. So Georgia in Athens, they're 80 minutes away from Atlanta. They are going to take that game in Atlanta. And frankly, if Michigan becomes the number 1 seed, let's say Georgia loses, Michigan's going to take Atlanta too, right? Think about Michigan fans. It's a 14-hour drive down from Detroit down to Atlanta, 15-hour drive. It is not a drivable distance unless you're going to take 2 days to do it, to drive to the greater Phoenix, Arizona, Glendale, Arizona. So thinking about going forward, the semifinals are in Phoenix area, in Atlanta area, downtown Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Georgia wins, they're going to take that one. And I think if Michigan loses, they're not going to fall below the number 3 seed. I don't think. TCU could potentially jump them, but I think they would still be the 3, even with a loss to Purdue. But we'll see. I'm putting win there because I'm not 100% confident. Michigan could fall to number 4 if TCU and USC are just super dominant and Michigan looks like crap. But if you are trying to go to that game, get your hotel reservations, get your plane tickets for Tempe, Arizona. As long as the second that Georgia gets the win on Saturday, they're going to play before Michigan. I would make those reservations. Then you'll have 24 hours to cancel them. Get ahead of the rush. What uniform was Michigan's the home team on Saturday against Purdue? Remember last year on the road, or they were the road team, the away team in the Big Ten championship game last year with Iowa. What uniforms should Michigan wear on Saturday as the home team? Look, if they're going to wear these uniforms again, why not in the Big Ten championship game, right? How about the all mazes? That'd be pretty cool. I don't think they will. I would guess that they're going to wear just the traditional maize pants, blue jerseys. But I want to know what you guys are going to think. In the live chat here on YouTube, let me know what you guys think. What uniforms should Michigan wear? Maybe what you're predicting them to wear I like this one. MOSAMA, Make Ohio State a Mud Again. That's a pretty cool acronym. But uniforms are always a big topic. Ever since last year, Jim Harbaugh started mixing it up a little bit. The white uniforms are no longer on my hate list. I saw a few guys ask me that this week. They won against Ohio State, against the all-whites with the white pants. But nevertheless, I'm predicting that Michigan's going to wear the traditional uniforms, maize pants, blue jerseys. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were all maizes, if they were all blues. We're going to find out on Friday afternoon. Typically, Michigan tweets it out, puts it on Instagram around 1, 2 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you guys keep an eye out on social media for that announcement. All right, keep it rolling. Let me know what uniforms you guys are thinking. I'm going to give a few shout-outs to people there. He says, go with the all blue from Pat Shelton looked. He says, let's see, traditional maize and blue from Patrick Brewer. Dark blue from G20. He says, basically all blue everything. And that is what you guys think. I'll keep an eye out here on the live chat. Okay, there you go. My live chat right in front of me. I'm looking over the monitor over here. I also have it right in front of me. I like this one from Tim. OSU is baby soft. They can make a good basketball team. All blues from Rick. Fred Bob says all blue all day. All blue from Terry. Alternate helmets. No, Jack. I'm going to tie my shoe because it came untied and I keep almost tripping on it. And I don't want to trip over and fall and hit my head. So I'm going to do that. Check. Patrick Brewer. I think we're talking about the alternate helmets. Jack, what do you think about these shoes? These become my favorite shoes. You think these are sweet? Look at these bad boys. Oh, jeez. We got the Jordans. Oh, yeah. All Jordan 1s. The grays. I did not wear them last week because I wore nothing gray last week because Ohio State is scarlet and gray. Jack, what do we have? Do we have any super chats we've got to get to? Okay, so keep super chatting if you want to jump the line. We're going to do another Q&A, right? We're going to do another few minutes of questions. We got another 10, 12 minutes of questions left for you guys. So can I get a Go Blue in the comments? I'll give a few shout-outs. I got to Go Blue. This guy beat us to the punch. Mainframe Online Gaming TV, Go Blue. Becky in chat says throwbacks. What's the throwbacks, Becky? In chat, which one are you guys thinking of for that one? I don't know. That'll be what are the throwbacks for Michigan? I mean, like the ones they wore in 2011 against Notre Dame. Should we do, Jack, really quick, a Michigan Football Confidential? Okay. Guys, don't get me canceled on this one. All right. So, December of 2020, Michigan is recruiting listen, here's the problem. If I say these things, I wish we could just do like a can't screen record or something like that, but I guess you can't do that. So I'm going to refrain from the names, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Michigan was recruiting a highly touted wide receiver from the West Coast, from Northern California. And I got a DM on Twitter, let's just say right around this time, right around the Ohio State game, 2020. That's right, 2020. And it was from a verified account, NFL player, played for a team in the NFC, and I looked him up, and he happened to go to high school at the same high school as this highly touted recruit. And this man was in his 30 years old, let's call him. And I don't know his motivation. I still don't know his motivation to this day. I'm like, maybe he was dating the woman or whatever else. And we're talking about this recruit, this wide receiver recruit that Michigan's going after. And he says to me, we did a show for, you know what? Okay, I'm just trying to think about it. It was right after signing day. The reason I know it was right after signing day is because I did an appearance on an Alabama YouTube show for their signing day, talking about Xavier Worthy because he was down to. I said the name. Damn it! Bleep that out, Jack. Bleep that out. Okay, this player was down. Boop. Yeah, it was down to Michigan, Alabama. I did an Alabama show, so then this NFL player hits me up, and he's saying, okay. It must be maybe right before signing day. I think it was the week of signing day because this player was going to announce on signing day. Signing day's on Wednesday. This is on Monday. I think I've got my work right. Okay. And he goes, your guy, that this player that I just accidentally named, he's going to Michigan. I'm like, why do you know? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, his mom, hey, RKA 7730, stop 31, delete that. Kidding. Wolverine Alaska with another 20 spot coming in. Okay. He DMs me. I confirm it, right? He's a verified account. This before the verification, Elon Musk style. Okay, cool. He's an NFL player. Also confirm. I'm doing a little internet research. Okay, cool. We went to the same high school. Same high school coach this player. He's got to know some things. And I'm like, well, why do you think that? He's like, his position coach at Michigan, let's just say, he's got the mom on lockdown. I'm like, the mom on lockdown? Whatever do you mean? And he says, my girl, his girl, is tight with her, right? My girl from back in the day. He's like, okay, cool. All right, well, tell me more. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, he's with her. Don't believe it. She's not going anywhere. He's going to Michigan. The player's got no choice. And I said, stop it, if you will. And so then I've got two excellent sources of Michigan football. And I stopped the conversation there. I reach out. I said, look, to two people. I said, look, this guy's hitting me up. He's an NFL player. He's never heard of me. He has no idea who I am, other than I've got a YouTube channel and I was on a couple Alabama football shows talking about this recruitment. And he's telling me this. This could blow up in Michigan's face if it's true what he's saying. And the person came back to me. He's like, do you know about said coach and his wife? And I said, no, I don't, man. He's like, I'm not going to tell you about said coach or your wife, but they live close to the school. Go look at the internet records. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I go back to the DMs. I said, isn't this coach married? And the player says to me, no, they broke up because of him. And I'm like, okay, so tell me what's going on. He's like, your boy came out on a recruiting visit about a year ago, met this player's mom. They've been together. Coach's wife filed for divorce 6 months ago. I went in to the Washtenaw County, Michigan divorce. Go to Washtenaw County, court records. Go look at it. Go look at the year 2020. April 2020, you got a filing divorce. September 2020, you got divorce is final, folks. And I go back to the guy, and I said, what else do you know? And he's like, she's not going to let him go anywhere but Michigan. And then he hits me back a day or two later, right? I said, okay, what else do you know? He's like, well, why is this so true? This is on signing day. It's Michigan. He's like, she's moving in with your coach. I'm like, a recruit's mom is moving in with a Michigan football coach. He's like, they're going to keep it on the DL, but that's how it's going down. His wife and kids already moved out. He's divorced. I'm like, holy fucking shit. And so I told about people, but I made the decision at that time. Now, I think everyone knows kind of the story, but you look back, I did a couple of like Twitter spaces or something like that. I think I joined that. But that was the thing. I was the source, and then I think other people have kind of outed it from there. But this NFL player from Fresno who played for an NFC team in the secondary in 2020 season DM'd me. I confirmed. I reached out to sources, one in the Michigan football program, one the parent of a player that was on the team at the time. They warned Michigan. They got back to me and said, well, that's not a problem because, this coach's marriage has been dissolved because of what he did while on a recruiting visit with a certain Michigan football recruit. Now, you go fast forward a month later, this player goes to Michigan. Matt fucking Dudek promises him an early enrollee spot. He's staying at the apartment of another Michigan player for like 3 or 4 weeks. Michigan messed up the scholarship level. It was nothing to do with academics, nothing to do with him there. And he said, well, we can't let you enroll in school. So what does the guy do? He's pissed off. He goes, he plays in a Big 12 school. Actually has the record for most touchdowns for a top 10 program all time, receiving touchdowns through 2 seasons. This player does. And as some of you guys are saying in there, basketball player crashed his coach's wife's car. No fault. I don't know what that means. This player has also been rumored to be transferring now to USC. I have no idea if that is true, but that has been a rule. So that is Michigan Confidential number 2. Number 3, which we might talk about on Sunday, maybe we have time tonight, we'll see. Number 3 is going to be about Bob Shoop, Michigan's safety coach that was hired in the 2020 season, but never coached a game for Michigan, and they never replaced him, never made an announcement. He was defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, got fired, got hired as Michigan's secondary safety coach, never coached a game during that COVID season of 2020. Wonder what that could have been about. You guys got to wait. We'll do a Michigan Confidential. We'll do, 2 more or 3 more on Sunday? I owe 4 more, so 620. Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. Wolverine, Alaska. Did I add him to the thing already? I think I did, right? Yeah, I did. Oh, gosh. So I got to put 2 more for Wolverine, Alaska. All right. Well, Jack, I'm going to just write these down because this marker sucks. And so Wolverine, Alaska, you're going to have 4 on the you'll have 4, and your daughter will have 1, right, from last week. So you'll be on there. Believe me, I'm going to put Wolverine, Alaska. Let's get him. He is our MVP, so he is getting front billing Wolverine, Alaska, and you'll have 2 of them, but you will be front billing right here next to John Blaze. Really appreciate you, my man. How's the weather up in Alaska right now? Because it got warm here in Dallas, right? It was 75 here in Dallas today after like 2 or 3 weeks of really cold weather. Wolverine, Alaska, this marker that I have really sucks, and it's smearing everything. and so I'm smearing everything. So I'm not going to waste anyone's time watching me try and not smear stuff. I'm going to do it afterwards, and I will have a full new helmet with all the ones. And everyone's going to shout out for the rest of the season with this helmet until we fill it up, fill the sides up, and then I'll sign it or something like that. I'll do this. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do, Jack, okay? We are going to take this helmet at the end of the year. Whoever becomes the MVP for the whole thing, the entire season, from now until the end, the week after Michigan's last game, national title game, let's call it January 15th, we're going to put all the helmet stickers on there. We'll give shout-outs every live show, most of the on-demand shows to all the helmet stickers. Then I'm going to take the Blake Corum signed football. We got a Blake Corum signed football and a Michigan football jersey, and we're going to send that to whoever is the end-of-the-year MVP. So, Jack, now going forward, you got to keep track of this. We know John Blaze. Now we got Wolverine, Alaska. You got to kind of keep a little tracker for me, okay? You got me? You got me. Okay, he's got me. Jack's got me. All right. Yeah, slack yourself that, Jack, because we've got and make sure we get all the supers from tonight. We still have 2 from Wolverine, Alaska, and a few others. So make sure we aggregate that all together. That's our to-dos before tomorrow, and of course before Sunday. All right, where do you think the line will be against TCU? I'm going to answer a few of these questions. Wolverine, Alaska, thank you for the super chat, so answer his question. I think Michigan will be favored by 7.5, maybe as high as 9 points against TCU. If it was against USC in the semifinal, I would assess that Michigan would probably be a 3 to 4 point favorite. Let's say it was against Georgia. Let's say Michigan or Georgia lost and it ended up being a 1-4 or maybe even a 2-3 potentially. I would suspect that Georgia would be favored by 7.5 against Michigan. If Georgia lost. If Michigan lost, I would say that Georgia would be favored by 9.5 to 10. If it was Michigan, Ohio State, crazy to sound, but I would bet Ohio State would be favored by 3.5 points over Michigan in a neutral field. Why? Well, because they think that the average bettor would be out there saying like, oh my gosh, so Ohio State's going to get revenge and all that different stuff. RKE 7731. What's the latest on Nicholas Harbor? What about Braylon Allen? We will answer those questions. Ask that question again about Nicholas Harbor, RKA 7731. But use Jack
Hashtag Michigan.
Use hashtag Michigan so the question shows up in the producer queue and we can toss it there right on screen. All right, is our Michigan football mailbag. Second one this week. Going to publish this morning of the game. So if you're watching this on demand tonight, Michigan will face Purdue. The Wolverines are 17.5 point favorites, 17 point favorites or so, over under 52 points. It is Michigan Purdue. The Wolverines going for their second straight Big Ten championship game. And if you've been with us for a couple years now, we started this Wisconsin game, I think, of 2021. Would you like to beat Purdue? Let's put the vibes. Jack, I'm just going to fingers, some good vibes. Jack's going to be the vibes here. Like the video if you would like to beat Purdue. If you'd like to be a back-to-back Big Ten championship season. If you're watching live, give me a like on the video, too. If you're watching live here on coming up on 9:02 Eastern time on Tuesday night. First question coming up here is how many coaches leave after this year? Well, it's a good question because it's been over the past few years. We're always caught off guard. Like, who could have predicted Mike McDonald and Josh Gass would have left after last year? Maybe some people, maybe not everybody. I'll say that 3 coaches will leave last year. Now, I'm not going to speculate on anyone in particular until we're past the Big Ten championship game, until some of these moves are a little bit well defined of where they potentially could go. But the most obvious ones are Sharon Moore, right? He's getting a ton of love for Michigan's offensive line over the past 2 years. Jim Harbaugh has been pushing him to maybe be a head coach somewhere. Colorado is a potential. Stanford might even be a potential. So Sharon Moore is one. I don't think Matt Weiss would. I think Matt Weiss is here for next year, if not longer. Jesse Minter, right? He's been rumored for the Cincinnati job, potentially other jobs. And he's a young guy. He's got a coaching pedigree. His dad was head coach at Cincinnati for like 10 years, so maybe that's a job for him. Mike Hart. I know he has bigger aspirations than being a running backs coach, a.k.a. run game coordinator. So maybe Mike Hart. Steve Klinkscale, if Minter moved on, maybe Klinkscale is the full-time defensive coordinator. Now he's the kind of secondary co-defensive coordinator. So those are the ones. Jay Harbaugh being rumored as Michigan special teams coach, best special teams in the country in a lot of ways the last 2 seasons. So there's 5 or 6 of Michigan's 10 coaches that are hot candidates for for bigger roles, either head coaching job or maybe a Mike Hart being a full-time offensive coordinator at another program. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm going to say 3 coaches is what the number is. And from what we're hearing is that Michigan has Jim Harbaugh has really consistently the last year and a half had a bench of guys that, hey, this one's recommended. He didn't get the job this time. I think Mike McDonald, who was his number 2 years ago, Jesse Minter. McDonald 1 year, Baltimore Ravens, Minter right there for the job. So I think there's that's in place for both special teams coordinator, running backs coach, and others that might move on after this year. Thanks so much for the question. Jim here, Barbershop. Chris L saying Ryan Day says Ohio State will be a dangerous team if they get in the college football playoff. Do you agree? I got to take a sip of water here, Jack. We've been live for 2 hours. 2.5 hours. Well, one is Ryan Day. Did you guys see that video, that photo last week that went viral? Ryan Day just for men ad. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm not saying it's not true. They would be dangerous because they're one of the most talented teams in the country. And in this college football playoff, they would be second only to Georgia when it comes to total roster talent based on recruiting rankings. They'll have the best wide receiver group in the country, probably the most talent on their defensive line, although Michigan's defensive line is better, more NFL prospects on their offensive line, although Michigan's offensive line is better, and one of the best 2 quarterbacks in all of college football, at least according to the stats and the awards, the accolades. So I would think if they got in, let's say it's the 4 seed, they could have a chance to beat Georgia. But I would hate that. I really would. And I know that this sounds like I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my ass. If Michigan would have lost to Ohio State and kept it close, I would have wanted Michigan to get into the CFP. I don't want Ohio State in because I don't think they deserve it because they absolutely got dominated in all facets of the game, especially as the game went on. Second half, Michigan 200-plus rushing yards, Ohio State 20. All the stats are so super slanted towards Michigan. But they will, if one of these 2 teams, USC or TCU, loses, I bet Ohio State will get in. And they have a good chance of beating Georgia just based on sheer firepower. But I would expect that Georgia, if it would be a 1-4 matchup, would use the Michigan blueprint to try and do everything they can to shut down Ohio State. The Buckeyes have had a terrible run against SEC teams in playoff games and even going back to 2006 against Florida. So I bet they would lose to Georgia. What I would absolutely hate if it was Georgia lost and USC lost, let's say, and it was Michigan 1 versus Ohio State 4. That would not feel like very much fun to me because Michigan would have nothing to gain, really. Ohio State would have everything to gain with a rematch. Ohio State, it was the loser last weekend. Michigan was the winner, so they are in the Big Ten championship game against Purdue. That is tonight. If you're watching this video on Saturday, we're filming this on Tuesday after the CFP Top 25. Michigan is a 17-point favorite. Over/under is 52. BetUS is our sportsbook partner, and if you use promo code GoBlue, no spaces, at chatsports.com/GoBlue, you get a 125% deposit bonus. Make a bet on Michigan tonight. Make a bet on Michigan win the national championship. You'll enjoy it. Don't bet anything you can't afford to lose. 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem. BetUS, our sportsbook partner, and because Michigan's going to win the Big Ten title this Saturday, we are running again the Big Ten, we're calling it the Big Ten Championship Jersey Giveaway. If you get started with BetUS, chatsports.com/GoBlue. Jack, if you have the opportunity, toss that link in the description and the comments live chat when we get a chance. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. You got to use that promo code GoBlue. Sign up and deposit $100 or more. You get a 125% deposit bonus. So let me do a simple math for you. Let's say you put in let's say $200. You're not a cheapskate. $200. You get an extra $250 in there, so you have $450 in your account. $100. You have an extra $125. You'll have $225 in there. You make your first bet. You email us, jersey@chatsports.com, with your account number. We'll confirm your new sign-up, new customers only, unfortunately, and your first bet. And we will get your information and ship you a Michigan football jersey, Jordan brand, not the cheap stuff, not the Walmart stuff. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Click that link in the live chat, or if you're watching on Saturday, go ahead and just type that into your browser, chatsports.com/GoBlue, and then email us, jersey@chatsports.com. The email address is in the comments and the description of today's video. Question coming in from MGO Blob. Look at that picture. That's a pretty funny picture. He says, oh gosh, Jack. Oh gosh. Who put this in there? Oh gosh. Earlier in the live show, people were yelling, no, we're not talking NFL. If Michigan, I'm going to be very quick on this one. If Harbaugh were to leave for the NFL, okay, guys, live chat. Okay, it's not my fault. Jack's fault. We should have put this question in, Jack. you're bad. The people don't like it. If Harbaugh would leave for the NFL, who would be Michigan's next head coach? I'll be very quickly through it. But we saw the question coming in, and Jack messaged me, and I put the message back into him and told him what happened. If Harbaugh were to leave in the next 2 years, I think it would be either Sharon Moore or Mike Hart that would get the job. I think it's the best bet for Michigan, right? If you look back at college football in recent history, it's actually been pretty interesting to see and pretty cool to see how much success coaches in waiting or interim coaches or guys internally have had in making the CFP or winning national championships. I mean, just think about in the Big Ten, Ryan Day went from offensive coordinator to head coach. He's had a pretty good run. Can't beat Michigan, whatever. But made it to 2 CFPs in his first 2 years, made it to a national championship game. Oklahoma, right? They promoted their offensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley. He went to a couple college football playoffs, had a couple Heisman Trophy winners. Even think about Coach Ed Orgeron. He was the defensive line coach, got the interim after Les Miles was fired midseason 5 years ago, and he won a national title in his third year. So I think Michigan, that's the best bet there, is to keep it rolling. Hell, let Jim Harbaugh be some kind of figurehead, but I don't think Harbaugh will. But if he did, we will see what goes on. But I think those guys, if it's this year or next year, it'll be Mike Hart or it'll be Sharon Moore, Michigan's offensive coordinator / offensive line coach. But I don't know from you guys. If Jim Harbaugh left, right, don't shoot the messenger. We got to answer the questions that people ask. That guy probably super chatted like $5,000 to get on the question. Jack wouldn't let me take the take shots from the live chat like that. But if Jim Harbaugh left, predict the Michigan's next head coach. Who would be the coach of the Wolverines? Let's just say it would happen after this year or happen after next year. Whether it's retired or NFL, who would be Michigan's head coach? I see Jesse Minter in the live chat. It could be him. Those would be the best potential options. It would be Jesse Minter. He's really young. He's very inexperienced, but hot candidate. Sharon Moore, I think him and Mike Hart are probably what Harbaugh would lean on more because they've been with him for a couple more years. 2 years for Hart, a few for Moore. Matt Weiss would probably go with Harbaugh wherever he went to be his OC if it was the NFL, but I don't expect that to happen. But let me know what you guys think. Rick Harfer in the live chat says Hart. A few people saying Jesse Minter as well. Chaos Carl, if you want to get that question about the Wisconsin running back, use hashtag Michigan. It'll push it right to the top of the chat for producer Jack. All right, after the Big Ten championship game, if you're watching this on demand on Saturday, the moment the game is ending, we will start filming the show as soon as we can put that scoreboard up on our graphics, and 15 minutes later, it will be published. It's the fastest post-game show in all of college football. We put together an entire show in the second half and have it for you in matter of moments. So thanks to everyone who has subscribed. If you haven't, youtube.com/Michigan TV. And now's the time. Send it to a friend. Give the gift of the Michigan Football Report this holiday season. It's youtube.com/Michigan TV. Jeremy Bazy-Lewitz says, is Sainrissel's pass breakup as big as Woodson's interception in 1997? So you guys, people like to challenge me. You don't have that great of memory, James. Charles Woodson cut underneath a Stanley Jackson pass in 1997, intercepted it in the end zone. On that day, he had a catch that got Michigan within the 5-yard line. He had a punt return touchdown, and he had an interception in the 1997 Michigan-Ohio State game. It's right there, right? If you think back to 97, Ohio State had a chance to, take control of the game. Woodson interception underneath. I believe it was in the second quarter. This one was in the fourth quarter. So you can make an argument with Ohio State down 11 at the time. They had a chance to score. They probably went for 2 to try and cut it to a 3-point game. The game was in balance, and Michigan was breaking a 22-game losing streak at home on the road against Ohio State. So I'm going to go ahead and say Mikey Sainristil, that might be the biggest play in Michigan defensive play ever. It might be the biggest Michigan football player ever, knocking the ball out of Cade Stover's hand, a player who had 7 inches of height and about 3-4 feet in running distance on him. Sainristil made up the distance and got that left hand up. As soon as the ball hit Stover's hand, just batted it away, and Michigan forced Ohio State to kick a field goal. And just later that next drive, Diamond Edwards, boom, took it to the house, and it was all she wrote for Michigan. Patrick Brewer says, do you think we can keep Minter? Cincinnati would be an intriguing game, job for him, because his dad was head coach there in his formative years. He grew up in Cincinnati, so it would be a homecoming project for Michigan's first-year defensive coordinator. Now, he's really young, right? He's in his mid-30s, so that would be an early one to jump on, but it's intriguing because they are moving now to the Big 12, so it's not just the Group of 5 conference like it would have been in years past, but Cincinnati has been the cradle of coaches who get promoted, right? What's the guy's name? He was Tennessee's coach. I can't remember off the top of my head. He went from Cincinnati to a job. Brian Kelly went from Cincinnati to Notre Dame to now to LSU, and now Cincinnati's coach leaving for Wisconsin. So Luke Fickell is, but what's the coach before him? Tennessee. Just the Tennessee head coach 10 years ago. Look it up, Jack. 2013. Went to, both those guys, by the way, Brian Kelly and this coach who I'm forgetting if you guys know in the chat, went Central Michigan to Cincinnati and then went to Tennessee. Who? Butch Jones, yes. I don't know if he's still on. There you go. Justin Skikes says Butch Jones. Thank you. Just forget. Butch Jones, Michigan, Central Michigan guy, Cincinnati, and then went on to Tennessee. Got fired. Was with Alabama for a while as like a offensive analyst or something like that. I'm not sure if he's still there at the moment. But Justin, that was your Butch Jones. That's the right one. So that is the question. All right, guys, predict the score. Michigan, Purdue. Jack and I are sticking to our picks. I am saying 31-13 Michigan. They kind of just play it simple, play it easy, play it not too exciting, not trying to get anybody hurt, trying to get the win, get the championship, move on to the college football playoff. But to predict the score, I'm saying 31-13. Jack's saying 35-14. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments and here on the YouTube live chat. Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, apparently, he says, can they really beat USC? I think he's talking about Michigan, right? Can Michigan beat USC? I don't see why not. Michigan's offense would absolutely obliterate USC. USC's defensive line for a top 5 team might be the least talented, least amount of depth of any defensive line in college football the last 50 years, right? Their defensive line depth is so paper thin. They've got a couple guys that are getting crazy amount of snaps. They wouldn't even be in the 3 deep on Michigan. So I think Michigan's offensive line would make them their punk bees, if you get what I'm saying with the B there. And Michigan, as long as Blake Corum is healthy or Donovan Edwards is healthy, it doesn't even matter. One of those guys needs to be healthy or at least have a cast on your hand. Your legs are working. Michigan won for 350 on them. Now, it might be a little more of a higher scoring game than the Ohio State game was because Caleb Williams has that running ability that Coleridge Stroud did not have. So Michigan would have to come up with something for that. But wide receivers are similar-ish. Offensive line, I would give the advantage to Ohio State. So I think Michigan would have the advantage over USC in a lot of ways that they didn't really have over Ohio State. Only thing that could be the X factor is Caleb Williams' legs. I think given Michigan would have 4 weeks to prepare, I bet they would come up with something and take advantage of the clock and the running game to push the ball, take ownership of the game, and not let Caleb Williams' legs impact them that much. All right, Impaler of Horizon says, is the Braylon Allen transfer to Michigan actually going to happen? This one has kind of hit a fever pitch over the last 2 weeks. It died down about 10, 12 days ago because he kind of publicly put out there that he wasn't interested. But now they've got a new coach. Remember what he said? He said, I am not going anywhere as long as Jim Leonard, his defensive coordinator, and a guy who's just been like basically Mr. Wisconsin, is here. I'm not going anywhere. So will Jim Leonard stay on? He got passed over for the head coaching job. I think if Jim Leonard does not get that job and they don't keep Wisconsin guys around, you could see a mini exodus from that program. Sounds like the culture there has just been kind of broken. Reminds me a lot of 2020 Michigan in a lot of ways. Jim Harbaugh righted the ship. So I do expect him. I would say it's 51% that Braylon Allen enters the transfer portal. If he enters the transfer portal, I would call it 75% chance that he becomes the Thunder-ish to Donovan Edwards' Lightning next season. They're the same class, 2021 recruits, and so they were both, Edwards and Braylon Allen, have junior eligibility next year. Could make a hell of a 1-2 combo there. And so if I do the quick math, 51%, 75%, times that down each other, I'm calling it 36% chance that Braylon Allen is a Michigan Wolverine next season. All right, folks, let's get in the live chat. I want to see the live chat and in the comments on YouTube on demand on Saturday. Random Michigan football player. I'm going to kind of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of one that's that I can come off the top of your head. Jack, you haven't followed Michigan as long, obviously, as I have, so you might not have an answer here. I'm trying to think of someone. Who's a random Michigan football player? Let me know what you guys think. Just think of a random Michigan football player, not a star, not anybody who's like you can go to town down on, everybody knows him. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. All right, I got one. 2003 or 4 recruiting class. I think it was 04 recruiting class. Max Martin, number 23. Max Martin came in his 2004, came in the same recruiting class as Mike Hart. Max Martin, also another one. How about Mr. Simpson, also a Michigan running back, transferred to Cincinnati later on there. People thought that he was had the ability to potentially outtake Max Martin, be a better running back than Mike Hart, right? Mike Hart ended up getting the starting job 5 games into that 2004 season, and then Mike Martin, I don't even know what happened to him, or Max Martin. So let me know a random Michigan football player. Glenn Steele, kind of a star. Ali Haji Sheik, Michigan football legendary kicker. Steve Threet, love Steve Threet. He's pretty active on Twitter. Mike Martin was a star. Doug Mallory, way back in the day. Braylon Edwards, come on, Braylon Edwards. Oh gosh. John Blaze in the super chat. John will get you here in just a second. Glenn Steele, Butch Woolfolk, Troy's dad. Nicholas Harbor to Ann Arbor. I like that one. Nick Harbor, Ann Arbor. Random Michigan football player. Keep a couple more going. Lance Scheffler. I don't even know who that is. Prescott Burgess, top 10 recruit in the 2002 recruiting class. Adrian Arrington. Great Michigan football wide receiver. Joe Bolden from Cincinnati. I think he's actually on the Ohio State staff now. Harbor would be the best recruit in Michigan history. Yeah, maybe. Be up there. Gerald Ford, American president, national champion. Ian Gold, part of those late 90s Michigan football teams, 97, 98, 99. Keep it going. See if we get one or two more Michigan football, random football players. Also, let me know down in the comments. Nick Sheridan started 3 or 4 games in the 2008 season, the worst Michigan football season of our lifetime. Joe Milton, Tennessee starting quarterback. Think about how weird this is for Joe Milton. Joe Milton started at quarterback 2020 for Michigan, who then went on to have back-to-back Big Ten championships, we think, back-to-back CFP appearances. And then last year, he started for Tennessee. He was the opening day starter before he got hurt. Their quarterback that kind of took over for him, Hendon Hooker, ended up being Heisman Trophy candidate. They're a college football playoff candidate this year. They're not going to make it, of course. But think about that. He started over Cade McNamara, Big Ten champion, Hendon Hooker, Heisman Trophy candidate. That's wild. And then next year in his 6th year, he might actually be the starting quarterback for Tennessee. We'll see if they don't get somebody out of the transfer portal. Jeremy Tuman, Rob Sweat, Tom Brady, Andy Canavito, Ty Streets, 97 legend, JT Floyd. I remember JT Floyd, a rich rat guy. Kareem Walker, that's a good one. Devin Garter, Alex Gentry, Amani Toomer, Zoltan Mesko, the kicker, punter from Zanesville, Ohio, I believe. Chad Henney, that's not random. Elvis Kerback, Jake Rudock, and Tate Forcier. Terry Power says you spelled it correctly. Name a completely random Michigan football player. Hey, if you were part of the Michigan football squad, you were watching the end of our second mailbag video that we're going to put out on game day morning on Saturday. Let's see some squads. I'll give some shout out from the live chat, but I'm going to go in and reply and like and thumb up to every single person who types in squad on the on-demand video that we'll put up on YouTube here coming up in a couple days. So keep typing your squads. If you are watching now, you means you've lasted nearly 3 hours with us here live on Tuesday night, or you're watching the end of a 15 or so minute video, 20-minute video live Q&A on Michigan football game day. The Wolverines going to get a Big Ten championship against Purdue. So go ahead and type squad. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. We will be back Saturday night after the Big Ten championship game, of course, for our post-game show, and live 11:45 a.m. for the college football playoff final rankings, Michigan football's playoff opponent on Sunday. John Blaze, Wolverine, Jack. Come on, what are we doing in the lower third there? What are we doing there? Come on, John Blaze. Come on, you got to give him some love. Well, last week's, right? Last week's. But you got to show him, we haven't seen him yet, so we got to show him some love. Today's MVP was Wolverine, John. He's putting like 50 bucks. But you're still there, John, right there. You see in the middle of the helmet. Josh Sherwood got up there too, but Wolverine's going to go right next to you. He is now our season-long MVP, John. As what I said is once we fill this bad boy up, January 15th, a week after the national championship game, a week after the parade. Jack, we should go to the parade in Ann Arbor. We should go to the parade, Jack. I think we should. We will take this helmet. We'll get you a Michigan football jersey, and we'll give a Blake Corum signed football is what we will give away to our MVP, the Super Chat MVP of this national title run. It's between John Blaze and Wolverine Alaska right now are our MVPs. John says 48-3, Michigan will dominate Purdue and establish the dominance on the league. Our air game will continue to impress fans like our newest fan, Pete Feinbaum, as Jim Harbaugh once named him about 3 or 4 years ago. I hope we can keep this energy and win the national title. The Natty, go blue, Bosa, John Blaze, my guy. Really appreciate it. Last week's MVP. Love what we've seen from this team, John. And look, I think this is a team of destiny. I think it is. Jack, as a first-time Michigan football fan, jump on the mic here. What have you learned about Michigan's football program, style of play, anything that you want to give the people who probably have been fans for longer than you?
Well, I think they're going to win the Natty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Corum was incredible this year. I remember watching him last year, but he burst on the scene this year. And I do agree with you that I think McCarthy is a good passer, but he needed confidence, and he found that confidence last week.
All right. That's Jack, Arizona State grad Jack. Not a Big Ten football fan really before this season, but I'll tell you what, Jack, you should go on camera. Where's your hat at? I got to show the people. He is outfitting himself. He comes into the office with me every Saturday and shows love, and I think it means a lot to him. Jack, you're living and dying with this team, aren't you? You're living and dying. We call him Young Harbaugh, Jack Lotteray, producer extraordinaire, right there on screen. Name a completely random football player is the question that we put up a moment ago. Just got it. By the way, we owe John Blaze 2, right? So we got Wolverine, Alaska, John Blaze, and now we've got one coming in from Dominic, so DF. I'm writing these down. We're going to get them all in the hat. I effed up, guys. I got the wrong marker. It smears. It sticks. It's terrible. And so I think I'm going to have to rewrite all these ones from tonight. But we got more supers. I think it's a super chat record for the show, Jack. What are we at total in supers? $200. That's awesome. So we did 0 the first week. We did 100 the second week, 160 the third week, and now 200. So really appreciate that. Let's not go to that next one, Jack. Let's just take a couple more questions, and then we will wrap it up for the night. How about where you watching from? All right, go to that right there. What you have there? Which is a better football team here on the live show? We're just free basing it now. I am going to type in 97 or 2002. Tell me a reason why. I'm going to put the helmet on. You should know, folks, that this helmet will have about 8 more stickers on it after we get off air. I just chose the wrong marker. It's smearing everywhere, so I've got a ton more. So really appreciate everyone. So 2022 or 1997, which is the better Michigan football team? Can I wear this on here? Oh, no, I cannot. So I got to kind of just do this. All right. Can't put the headset on, so I am going to keep there. Jack, am I coming through okay there? Sound? All right. 1997. Oh, there we go. I'm back on screen. 1997 or 2022. Michigan's 2 national. What? Oh, yeah, it's aiming wrong. How about now? There you go. Michigan's 2 national championship teams, 97, and then this 2022 team coming up. All right, let's see. I'm going to go back to the chat here as we are getting ready to wrap up, so really appreciate everyone who's been with us. Jack, including you. You're probably like, James, shut up. We got to get off this live show already, James. What the hell? Oh, gosh, James. All right, 97 from Terry. Chris says 2022. John says 97 until we win the Natty. JT's burner, it's got to be 97. And what's Gaming Tony, another Scarlet Snivler. I'm not sure what that means. I think we've got Gaming Tony might be in the chat. 22, I think this team, 21, 22, 23, generational talent, and I honestly see a national title in the near future. I mean, look, let's say Michigan wins the national title this year. They're going to be preseason. I mean, let's just say they win. The floor, I think, for Michigan fans, the expectation should be the minimum right now is they're in the national championship game. The ceiling is then to win the national championship. So if you hit either one of those, that would take, I think, a monumental failure for them to lose in the semifinal right now, assuming it's TCU or USC. And then your number 1 team in the country, probably number 1 or number 2 coming back next season. You got J.J. McCarthy, you got Diamond Edwards, you got Eric Hall, you got all these offensive linemen, you got all these defensive linemen, you got a stacked secondary. I'm just saying. And then maybe J.J. McCarthy sticks around for 2024. You never know. So I'm a Michigan fan, Gaming Tony says. I don't know, Gaming Tony, people are calling you out. If Michigan wins the Natty 22 for sure. Any word on Jaden Davis from Matt Harvey? Yes, I think Jaden Davis is going to commit to Michigan. I would say by a week from Friday, I would say it would be what my expectation would be in the next 10 days would be the worst case scenario, but he is apparently making it very clear to those around him that he is getting ready to commit, just kind of letting Michigan's season, regular season / conference championship season wrap up before he does it. His season's over. He won the state title, and he won that state title by wearing some Michigan football Jordan brand Nike cleats. So if that tells you anything about where his head is at going into to this season. I'm going to give a few more shout-outs. Josh says, yes, I'm Michigan being number one. No for the Rock Pile podcast. Michigan's going to win it all from Chris. Iceman Comp gives me an M. From Michigan, yes. No from Ryan. I heard Dante Moore took stuff off his Instagram. Is that true, Yoder? Yeah, I think I heard that too. But after the state championship game last week, they asked him, "Are you wavering Michigan State, Michigan?" And he just said, "I am 100% Oregon." So I'm going to take him for his word. Carson says Michigan. Aaron says M for yes, Michigan preseason number one. Jack, how about we do that? Don't miss out. Toss it on screen. I'll toss my Twitter account here in the live chat. And then if you guys want to follow me, I'll follow back the next 5 people who follow me on Twitter. Or if, oh no, how about this one? No, this is a little harder. You can't just follow me. You got to be following me and tweet at me because I've gotten too many followers today, so I don't want to forget anybody. So if you tweet at me, just at James Yoder, hey James, follow me back, whatever it is. I'll follow the next 5 people right there, and we'll be Twitter buddies as well as YouTube buddies. Jack, let's just get a shout out where you're watching from, and then we'll wrap up today's show here in the Michigan Football Report. Keeping Jack here till 9:30 Eastern. The guy's been here since 7 a.m. Just cranking out content with us. So appreciate Jack. 5 people who tweet at me at James Yoder, I will follow back. He's gonna say something like, "Hey James, what's up? What's going on, James? How you doing?" All right, we're gonna get a few in there. I'll get a few shout out. Iceman0215, give me a tweet, Iceman. I saw you just followed me. And then Jack, let's put this up on screen. Where are you watching from? I will give city shout outs. So we had Greenville, South Carolina. We had 3 people watching from Greenville, South Carolina. I don't know how that is possible, but it is earlier. Yes. Football. Rome, New York. How about this, Jack? Since we've had such a good super chat night, we've had a lot of participation, good audience. Why don't we do one more? Oh, there it is. Some guy. Okay. Some guy. He's getting a sticker, so let's write that one down. Some guy is getting on there, too, so I got to write him down. Some guy is going on the list. Some guy. Okay. Some guy, I got you in the helmet. He's got a question, so put that one up there, Jack. Michigan's the best team in college football. Go blue. Some guy, I'm not sure if you're just coming in there, but you're getting on the helmet. I'm putting these all on as soon as we have, and then you'll see it throughout the rest of this week, and you will see your name on there, and you'll get shout-outs the rest of this season. And I'll have everybody on there, of course, for our live show on Sunday with a better marker than whatever this crap one is that somebody gave me right before we went live. It's not his fault, but it's actually mine. Zanesville, Ohio from Anthony. Clinton, Iowa from Matt Harvey. Terry Powers says Owensburg, Kentucky. Ann Arbor from Brian. Anchorage, Alaska, of course, from Wolverine, Alaska. -5 this morning. Holy cow. Wolverine, Alaska. Do you ever get to the mainland? I feel like that's just so damn cold. I don't even know what to do. Ann Arbor from Brian, he said. Montana, grew up in Ohio from Outdoor Montana. Colorado from Fred. Chris, I like this one. 2022 Michigan National Champions. Sounds good. Real good. Wayne, West Virginia from Nate Gilkerson. Let's see. Jackson, Michigan. Flint, Michigan from Josh Sherwood. Sherwood, we got to hang out someday, man. We got to connect in a Michigan game, connect in the national championship game this year, something like that. North Dakota from some guys. My headset's getting a little loosey-goosey. Keep giving shout-outs. Jack, to wrap up the show, let's just do one more wheel spin for the people, and then we will sign off to the 100 or so, 190 people who are still watching today's Michigan Football Report. All right. Young Harbaugh spinning this bad boy. Nope. Do we lose? Do we lose the stream? Is that what it is? All right, Jack. I don't know if you know the fight song here, Jack, but I will. We should. You know, you've got to learn it before the bowl game. How about that? Okay. Okay, there. So it goes. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 and then this whole organ, and then it comes down to the crescendo, Jack, and then it's like dun, dun, dun. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best, hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go Blue! That's the song. It's a very good melody leading into it. As you guys with me, hope I didn't break any eardrums there. But that's the show for today. I really want to prank call that lawyer, Jack. So maybe we gotta juice the numbers next time. Here on the show. All the segments today, we've got the preview, we've got news and rumors that we put up, we talked about 2 hours ago, and both of those 20 or so minute mailbags with questions and answer will go up on the channel. Wednesday for the news segment, Thursday we'll put up our preview, then Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, we will have the 2 mailbags, but I plan to put out maybe 1 or 2 videos in between there, so you might get doubled up on Thursday and Friday with more Michigan football content. Thank you so much for everyone who's watching. 175 people still watching, and we got 332 likes, $215 of Super Chat revenue. For producer Jack Lottery, I'm your host, James Yoder. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. We will see you guys later. Go Blue.